All right, so we're live now. Welcome, everybody, or nobody, depending on who's watching.
Welcome to anyone listening.
Yep. Oh, shut. Oh, fuck on. Mute that. Okay. So today, what I wanted to talk about that I just couldn't hold until next Friday is a new thing that happened recently. Women may have to register for the draft as a federal judge in Texas declares the all-male military draft to be unconstitutional.
Wow.
Very spicy. Big thing that men's rights groups have been talking about for a long time. So, a federal judge in Texas has declared the all-male military draft to be unconstitutional, ruling that the time has passed for a debate on whether women belong in the military. U.S. District Judge Gray Miller ruled late on Friday that although historical restrictions on women serving in combat may have justified past discrimination, men and women are now equally able to fight. Restrictions for women in military service were lifted by the Pentagon in 2015. The ruling could see an end to the selective service system, which was upheld in the Supreme Court in 1981. In the case of Rosker v. Goldberg, the court ruled that the male-only draft was fully justified because women were ineligible for combat roles. Men who fail to register with the selective service system at their 18th birthday can be denied public benefits such as federal employment and student loans. However, women cannot register for selective service. The case was brought by the National Coalition for Men, a men's rights group, and two men who argued the all-male draft was unfair. The ruling by Judge Miller comes as an 11-member commission is studying the future of the draft, including whether women should be included or indeed whether there should continue to be a draft registration at all. By the way, Ward, just so you know, so in America, in order to vote, get a driver's license, get student loans, apply for public benefits, anything like that, all men, as soon as they're 18, have to register for the draft. And we could even face, men could also face fines and or jail time for refusing to register for the draft.
So this is basically in wartime, your name can basically be pulled out of a hat to go and fight. For want of a better term.
Essentially.
It's conscription.
But But it's always only been men that have been able to sign up for the draft. Issue, I've dabbled in the men's rights communities a little bit, and it's been a huge issue in men's rights communities that if women want equality, we should either abolish the draft or women should have to sign up for the draft also.
Yeah, I can see why. And I actually, from what I'm saying with this, I would agree with that.
It's not a hard one to argue, but
I mean, personally, I don't think the draft should be happening.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest. The only argument that I've really heard against women signing up for the draft is that it doesn't matter because there isn't going to be a draft.
So why are the men signing up for it then?
Because we have to in order to vote.
But again, if women are saying it shouldn't matter us signing up for it because there's not going to be one, why have they got the situation where men have to sign up for it if there isn't going to be one? They should just have abolished it.
Exactly. That was my point. Is either abolish it or women have to sign up also.
Now, the one thing I will say is that coming from an army family, as a young child, I mean, I had a parent in the army when I was a young child, and there was a war going on that the UK was quite heavily involved with in my younger life, and that was the Falklands. Mm-hmm. And that was a what I would refer to as a proper British war. It was defending our queen and country and our land, as opposed to fighting a war in another country, which is a whole different discussion that might be served at a better time. But with that, I'd say is that my mother had also been in the army as well, but that was before I came along. She was in the army as a nurse.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a situation where you've got men and women both that could be called for the draft and go from there, you've got to make sure that a kid isn't going to be left without both of their parents if a war did come about.
Yeah. And for anybody in the audience, if anybody is here, Rimshi and I were talking about this a little earlier. Rimshi, my co-host, he's a Marine. His take on it, and I'm sure he won't mind me sharing this. I'm gonna quote him from our DMs when we were talking about this. I feel implementation of the draft is a detriment to the military as a whole. It is constitutional, but I would rather stand shoulder to shoulder with a volunteer as opposed to a flight risk.
And that's something which we've, in the UK, have had similar conversation happening here more recently. We actually ended conscription, I believe, after the Second World War, which is in effect the draft. Because over here, they could find you out from the moment you were 16 because of what we have as our national insurance numbers. That's basically our social security number.
Yeah.
Or our equivalent of. So they could just draw you from that. There was no signing up for it. But we ended it here. There was still national service where you would spend a couple of years out, if nothing else, training. And basically being, for want of a better term, the idea was to shape you into a man and actually give you some discipline and some direction. But there was talk about should national service be brought back in the UK. But the largest outcry against that has been overwhelmingly from the forces saying, I don't want to have someone there that might end up putting a bullet in my back because they just don't want to be there.
Yeah. Well, that was a big issue during the Vietnam War for Americans. Since so many people were drafted. Hey, Rimshi.
What's up?
Hey, Derpy. You're loud as fuck. You got a shit ton of background noise.
Yeah, I might have some background noise as well. I'm about to head out to the store and stuff. I'm going to go to push to talk when I actually do that, though.
Okay. No, Rimshi, sorry, Derpy looks like he's out skateboarding or something.
No, I'm waiting for my coworker to fucking open her door or something. But when I found this out, I was laughing because Simple did a video on it. And I was like, I agreed wholeheartedly with what he said. Either we abolish it altogether or they join. Period.
Yeah.
It's not like we haven't done the drafts back in Vietnam and what the hell happened then?
Okay, Derpy, two things. Your microphone's garbage and you got so much wind noise coming through. So Rimshi, I read off that first DM that you sent me. The implementation of the draft is a detriment to the military as a whole. Did that whole thing.
But, there are. You will find people who will disagree with me on that. Most of them have spent time fighting side by side with draftees, or they are people who have never actually served. I don't think very many people who have served on active duty have a hold of views too different than I do. But ultimately, what it boils down to, in my mind, is someone who volunteers is more likely to stick it out because they look at it as, oh shit, I made a choice. A draftee is more likely to be like, why the fuck am I here? I don't want to fucking be here. I'm not gonna do more than I have to. Now, granted, those people will dig a foxhole faster than anyone else in the company when the firing starts because goddamn, they don't want to get shot.
Yeah.
But
however, just to jump in there a moment. Because with me, I know full well, right, that at any point in my life, especially
who's this? Is this Sword?
Yeah, that's me. Now, here in the UK, as we were explaining before, that we don't have national service anymore, we don't have the draft or any kind of equivalent. But if we did, and if we had anything like that, when I was called up, I would probably have been one of the people hanging from my bootlaces during training.
I'm sure I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not sure I understand the reference.
I'd be the one basically probably trying to kill myself during training because I wouldn't.
Oh!
Yeah.
Shoelaces made into a noose. Gotcha.
Yeah. You know, and I that would end up putting a bullet through my brain like in Full Metal Jacket. I would just lose it there. And I wouldn't.
I will say this: doing either of those would be very difficult. Successfully doing those, I should say.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I know what I know the kind of person I was then. I'm a lot better off now and a lot more mature, and you know, I mean, I'm sure my other half wouldn't mind saying in this house I do the ironing because, well, I came from a military background, my family in the military, and I got taught how to do it properly, and she hates it. I do as well, but.
Yeah. So, one thing that I was going to bring up, right before Rimshi and Derpy hopped in, is a big issue during Vietnam War is since so many people were drafted, there were a shit ton of people that were not even firing at the enemy; they were firing above the enemy the entire time.
Most of the people,
because they didn't want to be there.
Most of the people who had good experiences with draftees were individuals that served in World War II or they served in maybe the Korean War when pro-U.S. sentiments were high within the country. Whereas those who have served in the Vietnam War generally have a poor view of drafting because they have seen the beyond negatives of it.
I think as well as that, there's a certain amount to be said for the reason that people are being sent to fight. Now, I mean, I can only really speak from the UK side of things, but looking at it, when I was a kid, as I was explaining before we came in, we had the Falklands War happening here. And that was a fight for our Queen and country, and people went over there, and you know, the army family made sacrifices, and it was that we know why we're doing this. But I've had other family and friends who went off to other wars. They went to the first sort of Iraq War. I've had friends go to the second Iraq War, Afghanistan, and even they have been like, they'll do it because that's what they signed up for, that's what they're being paid for. But they still don't understand why they're there in the first place. And I think the sentiment is the same for a lot of civilians who don't have any army kind of connections with their family. And the sentiment is, we shouldn't be doing this. That's not what our country should be doing. Rightly or wrongly, that's the sentiment. And I'm guessing the same was there in the US for the Vietnam War. As opposed to World War II, there was more of a reason for it.
Well, Vietnam, there were two minds of it. On the one hand, you had people who were very, at the time it would be called patriotism, but very, I'm going to go with the term statist. And they listened to what the government had to say. And they believed that the commies were coming and we had to stop them and all that stuff. And then you had the people who were like, why are we here? Why are we involved in a war that doesn't even affect us really? And to be honest, that's a sentiment that is going on with Venezuela right now too. So we could tie this into modern day as well.
Oh, we just sent a bunch of military to Venezuela.
Did we actually send military? I haven't checked the news lately.
Unofficially, we have.
Okay, yeah. Well, if that's the case, either Congress has secretly approved certain military intervention, or Trump has sent in the Marines, which he can do without congressional approval.
Yeah,
and but here's the thing:
our military is currently in Venezuela. What they are doing, I don't know. They might be setting up for something. Maybe something else is going to happen. Maybe it's going to be another fucking proxy war, which I don't approve of.
Well, here's the biggest issue. Well, and we can get into Venezuela more specifically. But how I wanted to tie it in, there are arguments that, well, if we go in and we participate in this war, it could be either a proxy war or a regime change. And both of those have very negative connotations, and more importantly, both of those have a history of not going as well as we want.
Yeah.
However, on the other side of the argument, there are people who are saying that, at least in my opinion, I'm not sure on which side I really fall, but there are people who can be of the opinion that the Venezuelan situation warrants intervention because the detriment of a regime change is far less, or not far less, but is outweighed by the detriment that of leaving that government in power the way it is. And there's even arguments as to whether or not the government of Venezuela is currently legitimate.
Yeah, but it seems to be taking care of itself already because they've already implemented another person to actually run the country because the president that won the most recent election,
Maduro.
Essentially their Congress said that he didn't legitimately win the election, so they've already touted up this other guy and actually gave him the power.
But he technically doesn't have the power because it's the military that's backing Maduro, and that's the issue. There is a disagreement. There is the verge of a civil war. In fact, this was discussed in debate and discussion yesterday a little bit. Venezuela apparently has destroyed incoming aid relief in order to say we don't need it and all that stuff. So there is the whole thing I'm saying with that is there is that argument there on both sides, and both sides are not necessarily wrong, but they may not be right in this specific case.
Yeah, but the bigger question is, should we be involving ourselves in all of this shit, and should we continue being world police? I don't think so. You and I have had plenty of discussions about this.
Yeah. But the whole point being that this is the draft. Coming down to the draft, let's say we do join. There are going to be that split there is going to be that split sentiment of we shouldn't be here versus this is the right thing to do. And because of that split sentiment, if you were to use the draft, people being drafted in would have a likelihood of saying, why the fuck are we here? I do not agree with this war. I'm not going to participate unless my life is directly put on the line.
Yeah.
I'm going to avoid firing a single shot. Hell, I may defect and join the other side purely because I don't agree with this. Well, and that's the issue with the draft in general. But
it's like the Vietnam War. People that didn't want to be there.
That's what I was trying to say. I was trying to tie it to a more modern, more contemporary example.
On the flip side of that, though, you're still going to have, because I mean, I've had it over here with friends who went off to Iraq, who went off to Afghanistan because they'd signed up for the army. But they'd said to me, I went, but this is not what I signed up for. I did not sign up to go and implement, our way of life in a different country. I came to preserve our way of life here.
But there is a huge difference.
Wait, hold on. Let me catch up Red real quick. So we started this off. We were talking about how a Texas federal court judge declared that women not signing up for the draft is unconstitutional. And so now we're talking about the draft in general. But
I just want to know, hold on, before we go any further, which amendment is he citing?
It's some sort of equality. I'm not sure.
I'd actually like to hear which amendment he's citing before he claims the Constitution, but okay.
Well, that's what the article said, that he claimed that it was unconstitutional.
It wouldn't necessarily... Hold on!
Shut up!
My fucking God, stop for a second. Take 2 minutes and go to Tim Pool's. He actually says it.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sick and I just woke up. Fuck off. I haven't had a chance to watch Tim Pool's video on it.
Yeah.
Look, ultimately, back to what I was saying. The main Ward, the main difference between someone who volunteers and gets sent over to some place they disagree with and someone who is drafted is a sense of I signed up. This is part of it. Versus I never wanted to be here in the first place.
Yeah,
there is a different cycle. I mean, yeah. Were I to be sent when I was active duty? Were I to be sent over to Syria? I would have disagreed with it, but I did sign up. I did so voluntarily. There is that mental difference.
It's your duty at that point.
It's basically you're doing what you're told, and at that point,
You
as long as you don't break any wartime rules, let's just go with it. You're just following orders, and you're not there of your own accord.
Brett, I just DM'd you the article that I was reading.
The difference is that with the draft, you have people who are like, I didn't want to be here in the first place.
Well, you've also got
if you volunteer. I volunteered to take orders. This is an order I'm following. That's basically what it cuts down to.
Thank you. I accept that. Thank you for explaining.
Yeah, and when it comes to the draft as a whole, we've always had a problem since Vietnam of getting into shit we probably shouldn't and sending people that know we shouldn't be there over to fight.
Technically, it's since Korea.
Yeah. Korea was different, but yeah.
Korea falls under that. The main difference is the sentiment at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've said time and time again, I've been on record saying this before. If a draft were to happen, I would just sign up and skip the whole fucking drafting process and doing the maybe I will, maybe I won't. I would just sign up.
So I'm
wait. If you sign, go ahead.
I'm reading the first bullet point of this article you sent me, Jables. And it says, federal judge rules that men only draft is unconstitutional, but stops short of ordering the selective service system to register women for military service.
Mm-hmm.
So you just made a UN unbinding resolution, dumbass.
Yep. Yeah, but this whole conversation is sparked by not this article in specific, but just the whole idea of it of should women sign up for the draft because men can't vote if they don't sign up for the draft. They can face fines, jail time. They can be denied student loans. They can be denied all sorts of shit. And
you're effectively worse than someone that beats their wife on a felony record.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm not wrong.
So the whole thing is, should women sign up for the draft? Or should we abolish the draft? Essentially, is the whole discussion. I think we should abolish it, but
when it comes down to it, when they say they never said anything about combat roles either.
No, they do talk.
You could be drafted and not have combat roles either.
In that article, they do talk about combat roles. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't really gotten that far, but it's also one of those things to where it's like, yeah, you can draft women, but if they're not going to an infantry unit. There's plenty of time. Like, it doesn't fucking matter at that point. It just comes down to a principle thing where it's like, if you want to maintain the draft, everyone needs to be a part of it, and you can't opt out of it.
That's the whole thing, and this has all been propagated by men's rights groups, which I've dabbled in a little bit.
With that, then, would there be any exemptions at all?
There are exemptions for medical reasons.
Yeah,
if you're going to if you're going to school to be like a doctor, it's a lot of like the same shit with the Israelis. It's we have a lot of the same rules as far as I remember. Mm-hmm. It's like, but I believe you do have to at least go to your post office to sign up. It just when a draft time comes around, you can get an exemption.
Yeah, and so like you can get exempted for medical reasons. You can get exempted for being in college for some things.
It's generally speaking, if it's more than a 4-year degree and war comes up, depending on how much longer you've got, they may or may not send you depending on what your degree is. Like medical school.
Yeah. So
but they can just say fuck that. So
yeah. But the bigger issue is women don't have to do that. Women don't have to sign up.
Yeah, no, it's been like that for a while, and it's when you start getting into the point where who the hell you start getting to the point where women are more integrated into society as a whole, and not just the homemaker taking care of the children and all that shit. Like when they're actually out there making policy decisions, out there making careers of themselves. Like you've got like, okay, you have all of that stuff, but meanwhile, in the back of my mind, I'm just like, if I didn't join the military beforehand, I would have got. Like, I'm still draft eligible. You don't have to do that. It's like you're getting all the benefits of. The MRAs will say it's like you're getting all the benefits of a free society, but none of the responsibility.
Yeah, you've got a woman who nearly got to the White House, but yet they're not going to be drafted.
Yeah, and something that I brought up earlier that before everybody else joined is like I've talked to other people about the draft and everything, and the only argument that I've heard really is, oh, there's not going to be a draft, so that's not it.
That's kind of bullshit because if China starts or China or Russia starts fucking with us, you better be guaranteed. You're almost guaranteed you're gonna have a draft.
Yeah, well, the option is open. That's the problem. Like the option for a draft to happen is open. That's what the problem is.
But I mean, it's kind of like I personally don't have a problem with the draft. I mean, it's there for a reason. It's just if you have people that are actually contributing to society outside of the home, and they don't have to do a draft, or they don't have to be part of the draft because of the shit they got between their legs or some shit like that. We've got a problem.
Like, unless they can't participate because they would be of little use participating.
Yeah,
I feel that a draft, as long as the draft exists, they should participate in the draft. But I don't think the draft should exist in the first place.
Yeah,
well, they should at least register for selective service. I don't think it should be
there.
That's
the draft.
I know.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. Registration doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be drafted.
Exactly, but as long as it's there, people should have to. Everybody should have to sign up because, like I said earlier, men can't vote. They might face jail time if they don't sign up.
The only thing I will say in that is that, which I said before some of you guys came on, which that if it came time for the draft, there'd have to be some consideration to making sure both parents didn't get drafted.
Yeah,
well, then that would be a family exemption. Like, that would be a family exemption.
Yeah.
Then they might have to say the only way two parents won't go over is if they don't have anybody to give to their children. That's a legal guardian, like brother, sister, grandparents, all that fun shit.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's going to be one of those things to where, like, yes, there are exceptions, but it's not going to be like, yeah, you have family, you're automatically out. What? No, that's not how it's going to work.
I don't see our government sending both parents. Drafting both parents.
Holy shit, Derpy!
What the hell? No, he's muted.
That was me. That was me.
That was you. I was on a different window.
So, out of interest, just a hypothetical out there. Let's say that you're in a family, you've got a wife and a kid, and your wife got drafted.
Yeah.
And would you actually go, if there was the thing to do there, could you say, no, I'll take her place and she
can
go home, or would you go,
no, that's not how that works.
It's not how that works, but that's actually a really good question, and I think that's worthy of discussion.
I don't want to open that can of worms. I personally do not want to open that can of worms because it's like, hey, if you don't take my spot in the draft, I'm divorcing your ass and taking the kids anyway, so fuck you.
Yeah.
And this one, I think it needs to be discussed. It's worth discussing to bring up that kind of situation.
That's kind of a worst case scenario thing.
And also, you don't want Hunger Games scenarios where you're taking other people's spots for shit.
Yeah, but I think
that's the case now. But we've only just had this.
Well, I think that's fair enough because like my whole thing with people that join the military, I always thank them for joining so that I don't have to.
Well, I mean, Jable is if enough people don't join, you may just have to. So
exactly, but that's why I thank everybody for joining so that I don't have to.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm about to be 26.
Yeah, you've got another 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, it depends on the service. And in all honesty, with a draft, age is a lot less of a factor. When it comes to volunteer, for example, the Marine Corps, if you're older than, I think it's 29, you have to get a waiver to join. With a draft, I think the waiver is automatically granted in such a case.
When it comes to selective service enlistment, it's 18 to 26. So if I believe that's basically like you're in the draft pool for 8 years. After you hit 27, you are no longer eligible for the draft. Your number is thrown out of the pool.
I'm so fucking close.
Sweet.
But if you're 26, like the thing is, like, if Jabil's, like, let's just say Jabil's an able-bodied 26-year-old, almost 27-year-old man.
Christ.
He's 26.
Yeah, Derpy's just
he's 26
got a
for one more
horrible
day.
situation right now.
Well, like, he's 26 for one more day. We go to Russia the same day, and his number gets called up immediately. He's fucked.
Yeah. So fucking close. One more year. Hopefully, we don't go to war with Russia for one more year.
Well, I mean, do you have any medical problems that are just outside of mental at this point?
No.
What's your body weight?
I'm about 200, 210.
200, 210? What's the height?
5'11".
You're overweight for the Army. Your
That-
BMI
that's-
would not...
That
Your
wouldn't matter.
BMI
In
would
a
not be
draft,
sustainable.
they do what they had to get you down to weight.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
like, they'd fucking... Yeah, they'd do whatever they got.
In a draft situation, a lot of the...
I had
in
a
a
buddy
draft
that I had a buddy that joined the Marines. He was what was called a fat body or something like
Yeah,
that.
fat
They-
body.
Fat
Yeah,
fuck.
he they would give him one bite for lunch.
Yeah, no, the Marine Corps don't give a fuck.
Sheesh.
My brother went in as a fat body.
Your brother's a fucking moron.
Well, my brother's a moron for several reasons.
Yes, one of them being a fat body.
Well, he... Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm out.
his
I'm
situation...
also
Hold on. His situation was he went in well before he was prepared, despite my insistence that he should wait until he's ready to go to boot camp. No, he took an early trip.
Yeah, because he's a moron.
Yeah. He
no,
made
it's
several mistakes, and right now he's sitting with knee issues. And well, he got his MRI, and he's waiting for the second opinion. But the radiology crew couldn't figure out anything that's wrong with his knees to cause his pain. He's hoping that orthopedics will figure it out.
I don't know what radiology would do with his knees outside of, like, he's got bone cancer.
Now, radiology would be able to tell if he's got like arthritis or tendonitis or certain things.
It might just be he's onset arthritis.
They couldn't find any arthritis in there, and that is what they thought it was, but they couldn't find any evidence of it. So orthopedics is doing the second opinion, but they're more trained to spot those sorts of things. So
Yeah, I mean, radiology can't find it, but it's like it's even funny with military eye. It's just after a certain point of astigmatism, their machine will like go off the fucking rails. Like, I've got a 3.25 astigmatism last time I checked. I went up to the machine. They said I had a 7.5 in both eyes. And you have to be like, I think it's like anywhere below a 2.5. The machine actually gets a good reading. Anything above, like anything 3 or above, it just goes fucking haywire.
yeah, in my case, when I was getting my exit physical, I was getting my eyes checked, and they're like, "Well, you're matching 20/20. Well, why don't we go farther? I want to see how good my eyes really are."
Fucked.
I was able to get 20/15 vision.
Why the hell were you not a pilot? Why did you not join the Air Force?
I wasn't a pilot because I didn't have college. That is the reason.
Oh, that's the reason. Damn.
Well, you
You,
need
probably, you still would have been able to join the fucking Air Force for that shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
when I
I should've joined the Air
joined,
Force.
I didn't have any college under my belt, and so I couldn't become an officer. There were several
here.
other reasons why becoming an officer probably wasn't going to happen. But
Oh, believe it, Marine Corps office. It seems like Derpy's screaming at something, but he's muted.
Yeah.
He could
Probably
be
some
yelling at
motherfucker
other
cut him
people.
off.
Who knows?
I don't know why he's distracting himself with driving.
He is
with it.
driving, so.
Oh, he's yelling at Seattle traffic. Typical.
Oh,
Well,
man yells at
in
cloud.
Seattle?
Well,
no.
I've been driving too, but I've been
Furfag
unmuted.
yells at car in
I
front of him.
just don't roll down my windows while on mic.
I don't believe it. I have
Yeah.
bad road rage. I've got awful road rage.
Likewise.
Wow.
Well, you're British. You don't have to drive much anywhere. In America, I've got to drive to from where I got to do everything.
Okay,
I got to drive everywhere I go.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I nailed an apartment within a 5-minute walk of my work. So
Yeah, lucky you, you asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta drive almost
15
Yeah.
hours.
my job. Fucking thanks, Amazon.
Yeah, how's that English degree working for you, Buck?
Let's not talk about that.
He's like, I've made a great mistake.
Well, it was either that or not go to school at all, and I was like, well, fuck that. I'm gonna.
So he's got a BA
I'm
in
gonna
English.
get
He can't
something.
do anything.
Took me fucking 9 months after graduating to find any job.
Oh, I got something. Turned out to be useless, but it was still a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got me over here. I am currently in an electrical apprenticeship, and I'll probably be making more than you will. Hell, I currently am.
Yeah.
Okay, this is getting.
People start going to trade schools and apprenticeships.
Yep.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's a whole
don't do-
other issue.
Don't do what I did. Don't become a college-educated moron. I don't know anything.
The trades are looking for people.
Buck, you should have been a philosophy major just so you could argue with Rucka on a daily basis.
God, fucking Rucka. God, I love it. I love
haven't
his
followed him in a
songs.
long- I haven't seen him post.
I
anything in a
love
long
his
time.
songs, but when he starts delving into politics and philosophy, god damn.
The philosophy rap, yeah. No, all these guys are shit. Ayn Rand is the best. It's like, okay.
Yeah, well,
I
that's
was thinking
his
to myself, like, the thing is,
personal.
it was hilarious because I'm just like,
Citation needed.
and the thing is, like,
Fucking.
I know it's gonna be where he's gonna be like talking how good Ayn Rand is. I didn't think he'd fillet her.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, here's the problem with a lot of people in philosophy. They tend to stick behind like one or two philosophers, and the true thing about philosophy is you can pick and choose what's good and bad.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. 'cause
As long
too
as we
many
don't get into
people-
Kantian ethics, we're fine.
Too many people go to philosophy and think it's like religion, where one person knows everything.
Where do you think a lot of philosophy came from?
That's the
Well, okay, keep in mind that when it comes to philosophy, if you don't have consistency, then, I mean, you just run into shit. And one of the biggest issues is some of these guys have the consistency, but it's based on an assumption that you can't prove. And people look at this and they're like, well, if I'm going to be consistent, I follow this. And
All right,
I just
so
don't want to
before we-
delve into philosophy because it's just...
Yeah. So before we go any further, Jables, change the thumbnail to whatever this hangout is. we've gone like fucking down a different path.
I don't even know what the thumbnail is, honestly.
That's typical.
Yeah,
Fucking useless.
I don't do that. That's Rimsey's job.
I don't have the password.
I gave you the password. I just
I
gave
lost
to you,
it
like-
again.
It's in DMs. Scroll up.
Cat, what the fuck is your problem? Why are you obsessed with my fucking dresser?
Well, the thing is, your first problem is you bought a cat.
No, I didn't. I didn't buy the cat. My sister gave it to my dad.
Well, the problem is your sister gave your dad a cat.
Yeah, that is the problem. Dogs don't
The
do
problem is you live with your parents.
Yeah, there's that too.
How old are you, Buck? Like what, 25, 26?
26.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
to
I
fix
didn't
it.
move out until I was, what, 27, 28?
I moved out when I was 21.
Damn.
I moved
Well,
out when
okay.
I was-
Keep in mind there was a 5-year period where I lived on base. Oh shit! Why
Yeah.
this way? Whatever. I lived on base, so I wasn't living at my parents' house, and then I got back, and where I live, it's pretty much impossible to find a place cheap enough that I could have afforded it on my own.
Yeah. Oh, love it. I'm just
freeloaders. I moved out
scrolling.
at 18. Fuck off.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through the article, and I just saw a picture. I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, there's two possibilities here for like the picture. One of the pictures, it says Marine Corps. I'm like, okay, I didn't even have to look at that. I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, this is either like fucking Fort Leonard Wood, or it's fucking Marine Corps, because there's only two kinds of military base that I've ever seen that still actually has actual like fucking bunks. Just like all they're good for is a bed.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. There's been an issue in the military where women have lower standards for PT.
Yeah,
that's-
no, they do.
It's been like that. It's been like that ever since the inception of women being able to enlist.
Yeah, ladies don't have to do pull-ups in the Marine Corps. They have to do what's called a flex arm hang, which is
I mean-
you do one pull-up and you see how long you can hold it.
Oh, that's fucking garbage.
Hey man, to be honest, depending, that's actually not a joke at the end of the day. Depending, like further you go, like holy shit, that hurts.
This reminds me of like an old, like a 10-year-old Nike commercial. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do
Except for
anything
the
better
standards
than
that require combat.
Well, when was the last time you actually heard about a female getting into a combat role?
Apparently, it's starting, and it's completely
well,
stupid.
no,
Well,
this-
what I heard was some of the first female officers to go into infantry. I heard 2 of them got pregnant pretty quick.
Yeah.
Wow, at least in the army we don't have pregnancies. We just get fucking gay people sleeping in the same bunk with each other. Fucking Christ.
That sounds like the Navy.
No, believe me, the army's got more lesbians than any fucking branch of the military. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Well,
we had three cases in the same night of 3 different Battle Boo lesbian couples popping up because they didn't think to remember that a commander comes through in the middle of the night. Maybe I should be sleeping in my own bunk.
No, that's boring. There's no risk involved.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it was within like 3 weeks.
oh,
That
Brad,
people
you're
had already
crazy.
been on the Battle Boos and started checking up with each other, and it was all the female.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
Yes, Jables.
Here's the thing about equality. Everybody should be held to the same standards.
Well, that's if you're going to be preaching equality. I don't preach equality because it's like, hey, I've got physical differences than you. I can't preach equality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will preach equality so far as
Legal.
Hey, I
legal
don't give a shit if you try.
representation,
Like, hey, I'm not going to say that you
under
can't
the
try.
law, all that stuff. But when it comes
Okay.
to the physical differences and all that shit, no, because there's
You know, I
reason
don't-
not to.
I
But
don't
having
preach
said
equality
that,
for that shit.
I want to jump in here though because I am 5'7", 130 pounds.
So you're a
I
man.
can't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm tiny. I can't do pull-ups. I can do push-ups, sit-ups. I've got very good physical
Well,
health.
the question I've
I
got is,
could
can you
cradle
actually
you
reach
like
the
a
bar to
baby.
do a pull-up?
Sorry, say again.
Can you actually reach the bar to do a pull-up?
Yes.
They
if I
make
jump.
different size pull-up bars.
Not where I went. Fucking
No,
not where I went, dude.
Not in the
But-
fucking Corps, they don't.
At the same gym I went to in
Yeah, in the
Leeds.
Marine Corps they do.
Oh,
Yeah, they have to.
But with that though, there are plenty of women out there who are much stronger than me, much more physically fit than me, and I don't think you can do the catch-all of men are always fitter than women because there are some women who are
No,
fitter
yeah,
than some men.
that's true, but
Well,
on
yeah.
average-
Well, look at women MMA fighters. Obviously, they could beat the shit
yeah,
out of
Ronda
me.
Rousey could beat the shit out of me. But I could also go to
Yeah.
tennis and say that fucking Selena, what was her name? Selena Williams.
Serena
Serena
Williams. She's the best female one of the best female tennis players in the world, right? She was struggling against a mid-tier male tennis player.
Okay.
Yeah.
but like I say, is there are-
You can also look at all the situations where there's in high school sports. Let's look at that. Wrestling in particular, transgendered wrestlers,
the fucking
male to female, are
male to female
dominating.
beat the fucking shit out of people.
And there's also that male to female. What the fuck was her name? MMA fighter.
Wasn't it one that actually? Oh, MMA fighter.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking
MMA
about.
fighter.
Like, yeah, I know
Thinking
exactly
of,
who you're talking about.
Fallon
Yeah,
Fox.
Joe Rogan talks about her a lot.
Fallon
it's-
Fox.
And
Okay.
he was like, it looks like a man just beating the shit and tossing around a woman.
Yeah, that's exactly what it turns out to be. Because hey, he didn't get his dick chopped off.
Really?
Yeah.
The hormone replacement didn't start yet.
No, hormone replacement did start.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Yeah, but there's all the bone density shit.
Oh,
and-
bone density, fucking muscle mass at the start of therapy, all that fun shit.
Yeah. So like
And it's
technically
like-
that fighter was garbage technically. But
Technically,
with all the
in the
all
male
the-
division, he was
all the
garbage. But
advantage-
the second he dropped down to women's, it was just like, oh, he's the best in the world now.
She
Well,
transgendered.
fucking
Be
Christ.
respectful, you fucking fuck.
I'll respect the one that doesn't decide to beat the shit out of a woman.
You know what?
That's fair.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I'm very for trans rights and everything else. I've got some very good trans friends, and yeah, I think even they would disagree with that.
And even the female to male trans, like they still get fucked up in the men's divisions.
Oh no, female to male trans, they aren't doing terribly in men's divisions.
They're like what?
when it
like-
comes to
like what?
wrestling because they're shot up with a shit ton of testosterone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The fucking just influx of testosterone is like, I have so much muscle now, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, it's
they're
it's
essentially
a
taking
fucking shit
steroids.
show.
Yeah, didn't they? Wasn't there recently something about the Olympics banning trans people from participating in gendered events?
Well, the Olympic organization as a whole is just I'm not exactly the biggest fan of.
No.
Making billions of dollars
Multi-billion-
and won't pay the athletes because they're considered amateur.
Yeah.
It's like,
How-
okay, then you had fucking Kobe Bryant and LeBron James playing for a goddamn American Olympic team. I'm
How
pretty sure they're not amateur.
are the Olympics amateur? It's the fucking Olympics.
Well, that's the
They
thing. They are considered it. They label the sports in the Olympics as amateur sport.
Yeah.
It's like the
they,
NFL being a non-profit organization. It's kind of bullshit.
The X Games pays the athletes a lot more than the Olympics do. Take
Olympics
that
don't
into
pay them at
account.
all. Olympics don't pay them
Yeah.
at all.
No,
Yeah.
they don't. Olympics.
And
The only thing
they're-
the Olympics don't
they're
give them, I
considered-
believe, is free lodging. That's about
Considered
it.
amateur because they don't necessarily do it for a living, so they're not a professional.
Yeah, well, it's like, okay, you've got these people that are training for 4 years straight to become the best in the world and be labeled as amateur. I'm like, fuck off.
Actually, the training is a lot more than 4 years. There's
Oh yeah, it just okay when you
It's
actually
a
go to the Olympics,
lifetime.
then it's like, yeah, it's a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
And it's like,
There's a
okay,
woman-
you have to have something else going on for you, or so you have to have something else than just that. Because a lot of these
they get-
sports
they get
don't
sponsorships and stuff, but
well, sponsorships, but only during like the Olympics. Like the actual, like I've actually looked at some of these like swimming regional sports and stuff. I don't see a single sponsor. At least not visible.
and sponsorships didn't used to be allowed for the Olympics athletes.
Well, then that's because the Olympic organization as a whole came under a lot of fire, and they said, "Screw it."
Yeah,
Oh,
it's because they used to consider sponsorship payment, and if you were getting payment, you went an amateur.
Yeah, well, the second they started allowing pro athletes in there, they no longer have the right, in my opinion, to label all the sports as amateur.
fun fact, I know one of the pools that Michael Phelps likes to train at. It's in Spokane.
Yeah. Because he's got the good weed there. I don't know.
Well, pretty good weed, pretty good
I'm sure that
drugs
has
in
something to
general
do with it.
over in Spokane.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of an altitude thing because it's a high desert over there.
Yeah.
There's the company I work for. We're sponsoring an up and coming Olympic athlete. I won't say too much because I don't want to dox myself, but yeah, there are the company I work for. We're sponsoring someone who's going to hopefully be at the next Olympics. And if
Sweet.
they make it, I'll be putting money on them getting gold because I'll
dox the shit out of myself. Remember when that dude did a skydive from the upper atmosphere?
Mm-hmm.
The company that I work for now made the camera mounts for him.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Also, another fun article that we're going to talk about on Friday. Turns out the atmosphere goes past the moon.
Huh.
What?
I'm having to check to see if if it's still the PewDiePie versus T-Series still live.
Okay, what? Yeah, we'll be discussing that on Friday. What the fuck?
I thought
Actually,
the Earth was flat. How is there a moon? And we never went to it.
The Earth is flat. It's weird how nature does that sometimes. Oh man. Yeah. Before we went live, Ward and I were talking about the flat Earth a bit because apparently he's going to be making a video.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can argue the flat Earth.
Is it going to start youth?
I don't understand a word Derpy's saying anymore.
Me neither.
Yeah, I can't understand you, Derpy.
What the hell is going on with my mic? What the fuck?
It's
Your
a
mic
phone
is
mic.
shit. Use a better one.
Your phone mic is shit.
It shouldn't be my phone mic. It should be this one.
Oh, maybe that's the problem then.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe because your microphones are currently in your fucking ear. I don't know.
don't fucking know. Yeah, he's got one of the little what the hell is it called? It's like a knockoff headset, basically.
Yeah. So, kind of weird. Back to the PewDiePie versus T-Series thing. Apparently, they went negative for like 2 seconds.
It just lost a bunch of.
Like no, like T-Series caught up for like 2 seconds, and then PewDiePie, like I think it was like just over 1,100 subs. T-Series won, and then PewDiePie came back. Now the difference is PewDiePie was like, and now it's about almost 125,000 difference. PewDiePie.
Wow.
Elon probably deleted some accounts.
He deleted a couple countries with internet access. I don't know. Maybe he's just like, they didn't laugh at my deer.
They didn't laugh at me.
Like I cannot believe actually he got Elon Musk to do it.
Dude, that was fucking. I'm not sure what's funnier, the Elon Musk reacting to some of those, like the Bernie Sanders meme, especially.
like during Elon Musk's whole meme review, he was talking about how to make the memes better.
Yeah. He's like, yeah.
I guess once an innovator, always an innovator.
And he's like, yeah, no, I like the meme you got here, but I can make it better.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
The look on his face though when he realized, like, wait, what? What do you mean my dolphin isn't working? Lol. What? Oh, is that real?
Yeah. Have you guys seen Cult of Dusty going against PewDiePie?
Oh, Dusty.
God.
Dusty needs to just go away forever.
Yeah.
I would rather have Shoe Knight
Why do
back
people
than Dusty.
care about this so much? It's just a corporate thing.
Well, it's because Dusty doesn't understand what principle is.
Yeah. And Dusty doesn't understand what PewDiePie is a symbol of a YouTube creator. He needs to remain being the #1 top subscribed.
Yes, because
It's a symbol.
He's an independent creator.
PewDiePie has stopped being a creator and has become a symbol.
We've made a martyr out of him, boys.
Confirmed for
It's
Jesus.
a symbol. It's a symbol of what YouTube used to be. And
what YouTube could be again. And if T-Series takes over, it's kind of like a sign of, well, those days are gone.
it's
YouTube is dead.
It's the official death.
Yeah. If T-Series takes over permanently.
Yeah. It's the official death of what YouTube used to be.
Yeah.
Well,
it
might just end up being that we can tank whatever channel we want because they're in charge of moderating their own comment sections.
Yeah. Oh yeah, being demonetized.
Can we tank T-Series?
No, actually, what it turned out is it primarily applies to channels that could potentially have
the fact
perverts.
is there. Okay, who decides potentiality then?
Well, it's specific to channels that could potentially have and have idiots who want to be like, hey, true,
You
this,
mean like
this
Spider-Man
child
Alpha
doing a
shit?
splits.
Communicate about.
Wait, so you're talking about the Spider-Man Elsa shit that took YouTube 2 to 3 years to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all know they can't find the shit, and we all know that when we reported it, so they didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Then Disney pulled advertising like, oh shit, we done fucked up. God damn it.
Yeah.
I just want Vsauce to come back to not being YouTube right only.
What I don't understand with the whole adpocalypse thing is YouTube could have strong-armed advertisers. They could have been like,
Yeah.
Okay,
we got the
YouTube
viewers.
strong-arming advertisers is just gonna, then we're losing it anyway.
No,
Because we've hit a point
not
where
necessarily.
advertisers... Like, what
Look
can
at it from
YouTube do
this
to
perspective.
strong-arm advertisers? What can they do is my question.
Okay, look at it from this perspective. Hold on. Look at it from this perspective. How much does it cost for a TV ad? How much does it cost for a single radio ad? Now, take into account, you can get hundreds of YouTube ads for that same price.
Effectively.
If not thousands.
Yeah.
And there's more people watching YouTube than watching TV.
And they're more targeted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, like, Brad, you run around in atheist circles. I see.
I'm very well aware.
I see pro-Islam ads on a shit ton of atheists.
Oh yeah, no, it's because they talk about Islam, and that's why.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. YouTube could strong arm advertisers just saying, no, you want people to see your advertisement. This is where people are watching. If you want to bail out, that's your own damn fault. Nobody's going to see your ads now.
And then Google may say, YouTube, you can't keep doing this.
Well, they could, but you'd see a huge difference between when they are doing it and when they aren't. Because when they are doing it, the advertisers make a choice.
And
At that point, they're making a choice to either take cheaper advertising or give up a large segment of the market.
Well, I mean, that's also a thing, but it's like, I've got ad block running 24/7, so.
Yep, I got no script. Same thing.
Yeah,
But there are plenty. That's you, and there are plenty of people who don't.
But so I don't necessarily see all the ads because I have YouTube Premium. But
Yeah, I
Why
don't
are you
see any
paying
of
for
the
this
ads.
shit?
But there are plenty of people who don't use ad block who show up.
Which I always, well, actually,
And they
you,
watch-
you can't use ad block on a phone. That fucking sucks.
yeah, if you're using the YouTube app, yeah, you can't use ad block.
Well, even if you use the Chrome app for Android or iOS, I don't think they allow you to run extensions.
No,
Well, here's the thing. Most people watch on their phones, so they can't avoid those ads.
Yeah.
Because most people don't worry about a laptop or desktop computer anymore. Their main focus is, I've got a tablet, I've got a phone, I've got everything I need, which is not far from the truth for your average user. It's only assholes like us who like playing video games or are enthusiastic about the hardware that really need that desktop or that laptop.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I only have the desktop and laptop for really live streaming. And
The
Discord.
only exception to what I just said would probably be businesses, or if you've got specific programs you need to run for work, which your work may not be a business. Well, it's still a business. Yeah, so business. Business is the only other exception. Whether you're self-employed or you're employed by a big corporation or even a small corporation, you'll
said
need
that,
hardware.
Yeah,
But they're
I
going to
do love
upgrade
how
Or if
so
you work from
little.
home or something.
What's up?
In a way, I do kind of love how we're talking about monetary responsibility when the military is the largest problem of people going broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I can explain that.
Because they don't
To
teach
some
them how to
degree.
manage their money when they're fucking done and out.
To some degree, I can explain that. You're dealing with a group that you're dealing with a organization that will say, okay, you're not married, you're living in the barracks. Okay, you're married, we're going to give you money to live out in the world, and you can manage that on your own, but it's
Yeah.
separate money on top of your paycheck.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not married, you live in the barracks. Here, you have a chow hall. You're not getting any extra money, but you can go and get food free anytime the chow hall is open.
Shit,
Oh, you live in a house out of the barracks? Okay, here's money to buy food. And then they
at the
get
end of the
out
day-
and it's like, where's my money for my food and my housing? I've
Well, it's
spent
not
my
even
whole
that.
paycheck on booze.
Well, it's not even. It's a lot of that. But at the end of the day, it's like the military doesn't take any responsibility for what's going to happen to these guys after they're out. It's like
The VA
you have,
is that's what the VA is for, and they
well,
don't
it's
do a
for,
good job
and they
of it.
don't. I refuse to use TRICARE because it's like I have to fight for every goddamn dollar. It's like fuck it, I'm just gonna stay on my parents' health insurance and then go to the private market for this shit after I'm 26. Fuck this shit.
The VA hospital I go to is actually not too bad, so I don't worry too much about it.
We'll say that over here we've actually got the Royal British Legion, and they can go one of two ways. They can be really good and give a lot of support and help to the ex-military, or they kind of will turn their back. It depends on what support you've got in getting the paperwork filled out and how good with that shit you are.
Yeah, no, it's a fucking shit show in America when it comes to the VA and TRICARE and all that fun shit.
Yeah, paperwork is sort of irrelevant. It's whether or not they lose that paperwork or actually get it to where it needs to go, which 99 times out of 100, it's probably getting lost.
Because people just don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Well, that's shocking for me.
You'd be
Yeah, no,
surprised
it's
when-
horrible. There's a
It-
reason why
Well,
the VA has been such a contentious issue over the past several years. And it's another prime example of why Americanized socialized healthcare is not a good idea. First, let's get the VA working properly. Once you can do that, then you know how to run a socialized healthcare system in the US. And then we can start talking about it. Let's first get the VA working.
Actually, how much money does the VA get every year?
I'd have to look that up. I don't know.
The thing with the social health care is,
we also run with like a crazy fucking budgeting system where if you don't use it, you lose it,
yep,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a bad incentive.
which is garbage.
No, here's a prime example. While I was active duty, there were times where we had extra money at the end of the year. So they said, literally, spend it on whatever you want. If you want new chairs, order new fucking chairs. We don't care. Just spend the fucking money. And then there were other years where, like, yeah, we can't afford to we can't afford to replace the engine in this Osprey because we don't have the funding. We're halfway through the fiscal year, but we can't afford that.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Yeah, so like I think our bigger issue, like we could have socialized medicine in this country, but we have this fucking use it or lose it mentality with a lot of our government facilities that are using taxpayer money.
Well, it's not. It's that, and on top of we're getting price gouged by contractors every chance we get.
Yeah,
It's not like the military sucks at managing its own money. So it's kind of actually, now that I think about it, it's like,
Well, it's
the military sucks at managing its own money because it's got bad incentives, and now now we have to worry about them actually giving people or train people how to not fucking blow everything on booze because they hate their life.
Aguilar's in the chat. He said,
Yeah.
"Try being infantry, not having money for ammo."
Oh, I've never
Yeah,
been there
no,
before. 'Cause I
that
live in
is a
infantry.
fun one.
No, try being fucking maintenance and not having money for goddamn nuts and bolts. We've had that happen before.
By the way, sorry,
that was
chat,
the
Yeah.
state funding.
I
That was
haven't
the
been
state
paying
funding
attention
issue.
to chat, but no, I'm gonna start paying attention now. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, I feel you, dude. Like, I actually had 2 months in a row to where they couldn't pay us. So
Really?
No, but that's stupid.
when you're a guard,
Because
it's
the
2 months in a row.
reality is that the military should be coming out of the pay for military personnel should be coming out from your unit. That's not right.
That's the thing. It doesn't come out of your unit when it's in the guard. It's all state funding. If the state doesn't have money to give to the military to pay them, they cannot do work.
That's insane.
Unless it's a state emergency, the guard will not do work if they are not getting paid.
God damn.
Yeah. Oh, Coast Guard still had to work, but all other military.
That's because of the Coast Guard.
All other military branches didn't.
Yeah,
have.
and there was also that.
No, all
little
other
thing.
military branches have to work except for the Guard. If you're talking about the Marines, the Army, the general national Army.
No. I'm talking about getting paid.
Oh yeah.
Like having.
Yeah, no,
more than having
it's
to work.
also the fun
Sorry,
thing.
I misspoke.
In the case of a government shutdown, we have the wonderful, wonderful time of if it's indefinite, they're going to keep shit running. But we were also having a fun little time of maybe they don't get back pay.
What?
Yeah, no, I actually had seven
Aguilar,
congressmen
wait,
decided not to.
hold on. Aguilar was saying in the chat, we didn't go to the range for 8 months because of budget issues. We were infantry. Shooting things was our job.
Oh, I didn't think it was
Yeah.
8 months.
No, welcome to the American military. Like I said, we had times where we had to replace stuff. We couldn't replace the engine. There were times where we couldn't fix an engine because we didn't have the money for the screws to hold the fuel manifold in place.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's one for you though. In the UK here, we had issue with Iraq and Afghanistan war, the recent stuff, which is where there were soldiers going over with what we call standard camouflage, which is green and black for jungle warfare. It wasn't there for being in the sand.
So you're telling me that they had forest camo in a desert environment? It's like saying
They had
"Yay!"
jungles. They had fucking jungles
They had fucking
in the
jungle
desert.
camo in a goddamn
Yeah.
desert. That's
I
fucking
shit
funny.
you not.
Dude, that's
fucking
fucking. Yeah, no. When it comes to the military, that is. Do you want to get rid of a lot of the military overspending? Step number 1: make it so it's not incentivized by spending your budget before the end of the year, so you can have the same budget, not more of a budget, the same budget.
Over here as well, I would
Even
say,
better, actually. One thing actually that I've had happen to me a few times in the guard. We're just like, okay, we've got a surplus. What do we need? What do we need to buy? Buy it now. Oh shit, we didn't have time. Fuck, we lost the funding.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one for you. Over here in the UK, now the mess halls, I know this because I actually worked for a firm which is providing catering to the officers' mess for the Christmas functions. Subcontracted out to private companies.
Yeah, no, we do that. We do that with a lot of shit.
That one makes some sense. Okay, so in this specific instance, every Marine's a rifleman, even the cooks, and I can only say from the Marine Corps point of view because that's what I was in. Even cooks are riflemen in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
As such, when you're a cook, your main job is to be a cook, but you're getting paid to cook food, and they're still contracting out. You've got Marine Corps cooks, and they're still contracting out.
No, however, with this though,
If that's the case, either have the cooks do their job as a cook, or move them to something else where they're gonna be more effective in the than just being like.
You mean like outmoding an MOS, which they've done all the time in maintenance?
Yeah. Well, the Osprey was a special case, so But
Oh, no,
you
it's not
had
even-
you had
I
O
had-
level, which is where I was, which is okay. We can replace big parts and do minor fixes. You have I level, where you send certain things to go get repaired on a more in-depth scale, and then you've got depot level or D level, where let's say they need to send for a massive retrofit because they're changing the airframe of the aircraft to do to accommodate this other thing. You send it there. Now in the Osprey, our engines were on lease, so anytime we had an engine issue, we sent it back to Rolls-Royce and got a whole different one.
Oh yeah, no, it's even funnier when it's like, yeah, military. It's like all the everything when it comes to maintenance and shit. All your parts are subcontracted out. Everything is subcontracted out. And these contractors, they're price gouging. Like you think like not having ammos, like not having ammo for 8 months is bad. Well, that's probably because they're fucking paying a 10-year contract off still. For something about that, by the time they even get it, it's outdated by 15 years.
Yeah. And the other factor is another factor is that a lot of these contracts are no bid contracts.
Oh yeah.
Which should be flat out illegal.
Yeah, and then you get a lot of the former higher ups like lieutenant colonels all the way up to general. It's like, oh, what do they do after they retire? Why are they doing consulting for all these firms?
Yep. The other thing over here is that the other thing that will happen, and I know this happened because I've seen it, is that when it comes to these contracts, be it for ammo, be it for stationery, be it for anything else, because I've worked for a company that supplies to the military here, and what will happen is when it's got to be bid for, the bid, what was referred to as the tender, will be written in such a way that only one company can possibly win it. Because they're the only one that can provide a certain model of whatever it is. So then they can charge what the hell they want.
Well, a big factor actually in the military, even if it's a bid contract, and you're trying to get your company to be the one that gets accepted, your product could easily be accepted. But then they're going to go to another company and be like, mass produce this. Hello?
Yeah.
You're back now.
Okay. You can be the small company. Hello?
Keep going.
You can be the small company that gets the big contract. But because you're a small company, they're going to go talk to a bigger company for mass production and say, hey, can you mass produce this weapon that these guys designed? You're going to get some of the money. But most of the money is going to go to the company that's actually making it now.
It's a conspiracy.
Yeah. But what I mean is, if you've got
makes me
the case where you've got people wanting to give their friends the job, they will write it to make sure their friends.
Who's on fire?
Oh yeah, some dumbass is backing up in the back in the fucking driveway next to me.
Holy
Forgot I
shit.
wasn't on push to talk.
Shit's on fire, man. All right, who was talking?
Your mom.
Ward.
Besides that,
Yeah, no, that was me.
By the way, hey, Biotech.
But yeah, I was saying, like I say, I mean, the way we do it is
I
legit,
warned you
but,
about the ridiculousness.
but yeah, it's if they want to make sure that a particular company gets it, they'll make sure of it by the way they word the contract, and that way only one company can win it. So that's going to be the medium to big company, then they'll be getting kickbacks all over the place for that happening.
That's essentially a no bid contract with extra steps.
effectively.
Yeah, it's a no bid contract covering your ass.
Yeah, and even with
Because
the big
as long as you-
contract, the military is like, hey, what's the cheapest thing that we can buy that looks the best?
What's
then it
the
turns out
cheapest thing that we can buy that will function correctly as we need it? They will sometimes go to something that's going to be a bit more expensive, but works better. But more often than not, military grade just means it's the cheapest shit that works.
Yeah, military grade don't mean shit. It
Like,
literally means it's totally garbage.
I love how military grade is usually thought of as, oh, this is the top of the line. This is the stuff the military buys. And then you join the military and you realize what military grade means. You know, like, shit, why did I ever want to get this stuff?
It is absolute unadulterated fucking garbage half the time.
There are exceptions. Yeah. Like the Marine Corps main pack. The Marine Corps main pack that they're using right now is pretty damn good. I'll be honest, it's pretty damn good. It was so good that I actually bought one for personal use. But I didn't have to. I didn't have to try it on to. I didn't have to buy it to try it originally. I got given it.
And it was actually kind of funny that my unit was actually gave me when they gave me all issued me all my gear. It's just like this shit's from the Gulf War, and
that's another factor.
Holes in the holes.
One thing I remember.
Usually Marines get like shit supposedly. Like here's a M14.
Was that English?
We can't understand a goddamn word coming out of your fucking mouth.
Get a better mic.
Why are you outside?
Or at least don't shout into it.
Yeah, we can't understand what you're saying. Get a better mic.
How about instead of buying all the clop porn that you have, invest in a better mic.
Because every single other mic breaks within a month.
That's what the hell just changed? Because that mic is so much better.
He got closer.
This is my phone.
Yeah, he's on his phone.
Okay. Why the fuck are you using
the aux mic is fine.
But I was saying, Marines usually supposedly get like here's an M14 from like way back. Like this thing, like is this even rifling? Like that shit.
This thing.
My flak jacket. Okay, so since the current war in Afghanistan, war in Iraq, all that bullshit has been going on. It's been a boon for the military in terms of equipment. They've been able to get a lot more funding to spend on equipment. But yes, that used to be true. Nowadays, you actually get stuff that's worth a damn. That's at least on par with the Army. But the Marine Corps used to be, here, you get shit from 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It's hand-me-down shit from the Army or the Navy.
Oh, believe me, Pogues get all the fun shit, too.
And
we get all the old shit, too.
And you, in order to survive, you have to focus on training. So the Marine Corps,
the entire time I was in, was an M16, A2.
The Marine Corps has always been better with training than the Army. The Army, in terms of the infantry, has always gotten the good gear, but they've gotten not quite as good training. The Marine Corps has always had the better training. The Army has always had the better equipment.
Generally speaking, yeah, but it's also been a thing of a Marine Corps really didn't get much funding because the Navy said, fuck you people.
Yeah, no, that's why the Marine Corps doesn't get good gear.
Because the Navy takes it all and just gives the scraps away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the Marine Corps is officially a department, is officially part of the Department of the Navy.
Else.
It may be the men's department, but still a part of the Department of the Navy.
Remember, Rimshi, you are what you eat. You are what you eat.
What the fuck?
I'm fine with being pussy.
I'm pretty sure you choke on all the dicks.
No, that's the Navy.
If you're the men's department of the Navy, you're choking on dicks because you are what you eat. Can't believe I have to explain that to you.
Oh, by the way, my mom's watching. Hi, Mom.
For reals?
Yeah.
For reals?
For reals? Yeah. Yeah, she just... Yeah, we've been texting.
Oh, right. So,
in all seriousness, though, yeah, the recent wars have been a boon for military equipment. Even the Marine Corps is at least on par with Navy Army equipment today. When I went to boot camp, we had a M16A2 that we learned on. I learned on iron sights. Nowadays, when my brother went to boot camp, they had ACOGs. I'm not okay with that. Marines
Yeah,
are supposed to know the basics. They're supposed to know how to use the most basic equipment. An ACOG is not basic equipment. They should be learning on iron sights.
Yeah, I learned on M16A2 with iron sights. Never had a scope in my life.
When I got to the fleet, I actually had a ACOG.
I didn't even get that.
Well,
I
said,
got
every
unit.
Marine's a rifleman, so
I
technically
got
we
my
are all
unit.
infantry. We get better stuff.
Yeah, no, I got to the I got to my unit, which is a support unit, and it's just like, why are we still using M16A2s when almost everybody else in the state has M4s?
Or 16s, fucking M4.
Oh, well, I was
Give me
active.
give me an M16. Give me the cool one. Give me the A1. Damn it.
You know what? I should have been. I did not know this at the time, but while I was active duty, where I was stationed. They didn't have enough rifles to supply every individual with their own rifle.
Oh,
So when you went to rifle range each year, you got issued a different rifle. You did when you got deployed. You got issued a rifle.
Sharing a 0 is a bitch.
Well, no, it wasn't sharing a 0. You literally had to re-0 each time because it was a different rifle. It wasn't someone else's rifle you were sharing with. It was a rifle they had in storage that no one had claimed at that point in time. So if you got deployed, or if you had to go to a rifle range, or if you were taking a rifle for training, you would be issued a rifle for that duration. Well, anyway, I didn't know this, but because of my MOS, I could have been being issued M4s with the adjustable stock, which would have been nice because I'm a shorter individual. I'm 5'6". I'm about 5'5.5". I usually round up just because I don't want to say 5'5.5" because it makes me sound like I'm trying to be taller than I am.
Yeah, Rimshi's a short boy.
Yeah,
he's also got a hairline that points west.
It doesn't point west because west could be the direction I'm not facing. Anyway,
his head's tilted at a 45-degree angle, hairline straight.
Anyway, so I could have been issued an M4, which would have been nice, but I did not know that till I was getting out.
Okay.
Purely because of my MOS.
I want to throw a question out there for you guys in America because I think it's more of a issue over there than it is over here.
All right.
The whole idea of stolen valor.
Oh.
Now over here we call them Walter Mitty's, but that's down to a book where there was a character called Walter.
Oh my
Mitty.
gosh, I've actually seen videos of people getting called out for that.
Well,
Now,
the fun part about the stolen valor, like pointing it out, kind of craze is people are also getting it a whole hell of a lot wrong too.
Yeah. I've seen where people were actual veterans and they got called out, and some of them actually like had physical harm done to them, which is actually really sad.
Yeah. What the issue is? It's just outrage culture before it was outrage culture.
Exactly.
No, it was. Actually, I think the craze of pointing out stolen valor was in the middle of outrage culture.
No, it was before outrage culture really started because I saw it while I was active duty. Yeah, outrage culture was a bit of a thing, but that was still during the Obama era.
I've been seeing stolen valor videos since like 2011.
Have you guys seen the ISIS stolen valor that Vet TV did? It's
How do you steal valor from ISIS?
Shit.
No, I don't subscribe to Vet TV because they got a paywall. I don't like paywalls.
One of these days, ask me to do Rabbit. I pay for it because it's funny as shit.
Let's do that today. I want to see. I know Donut Operator was on a few episodes of Vet TV.
Yeah, I did actually that one too.
Yeah. Let's do it.
When it comes to stolen valor, though, to get back on topic, when it comes to stolen valor, a lot of people get it wrong. Like Brett said, a lot of people get it wrong. I have seen plenty of times where the individual, they're just not doing it quite. They're not wearing the uniform quite right. And because of that, someone's calling them stolen valor. I've nearly had stolen valor called on me. Luckily, I carry a VA ID card with me all the time. So
Oh, yeah, no, I carried my military ID everywhere I went because I'm like, I'm waiting for one of these assholes to come out.
oh yeah, no, but this was while I was when after my EAS, which for everyone who doesn't know stands for End of Active Service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
I had my VA ID and I had my reservist ID because for a period of time after you EAS, you've got inactive reserves until you hit your end of obligated service or EOS, which most veterans don't even know that term.
Yeah.
EOS, isn't that your enlistment state or your enlistment date?
Well, it depends because if you join under the delayed entry program, the period of time when you are in the delayed entry program counts towards your inactive ready reservist.
Yeah.
Who's that old former military guy that constantly calls out stolen valor people?
I don't know. I stopped paying attention to those videos because half of them.
I stopped giving a shit a week into it.
Well, no,
Yeah.
no, it's something you showed to me, Rimshi. It's the guy that called out like Nathan Phillips, that the Native American that was drumming in front of the kid's face.
That guy.
I don't know offhand.
Mm.
I mean, I think Nathan Phillips is a fucking jackass, and the stolen valor thing it's adding insult to injury at this point.
Yeah.
It's like
But-
you done fucked yourself up, and now you're getting accused of something entirely fucking avoidable.
Like there's a huge difference between idiots who are who actually commit stolen valor, and idiots who think that a veteran or an active duty individual is committing stolen valor just because the insignia on for Marines, the insignia on the collar is not at the right angle. Because I've seen shit like that.
I'm thinking to myself, like, motherfucker, have you ever tried putting those uniforms together for the first time? You're gonna get a lot of shit wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, it's at a 47-degree angle, not a 45. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. No, but a lot of times the people who would go after the stolen valor shit were
They're
people
fucking
who were
jokes.
way more gung-ho, and they would make things absolutely perfect, and they thought anyone who didn't make it absolutely
We're
perfect
shitbags, and I'm just like,
we're not actual military, because military as a whole have pride in their appearance. Yeah.
I never gave a shit.
Look,
We're just
the
like,
funny
am I
thing
gonna get
is-
yelled at for what I look like?
The only
No?
ones
Cool.
that the only ones that I give any validity to are the ones that like point out certain badges or certain patches that are like, what does that mean? And then they're
Like
totally
Master
wrong,
Funnery
but-
Sergeant.
Master Funnery
Yeah.
Sergeant.
Have
Oh,
you
God.
seen that big fatty with he had Gunnery Sergeant chevrons on his shoulder in dress blues. He had the I forget what it's called, but that the bit of braided rope that goes around the shoulder.
Oh, the fucking blue cord?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which the Marines there's only one unit that can have that embellishment on their uniform. If you're not part of that unit, you cannot do that. And he had he had a SEAL badge on his uniform.
Wait, what?
Or not a SEAL badge. He had a SEAL pin on his uniform, and like a stack
Wait,
the size of.
he had a Budweiser there, as they call it, the Budweiser.
Yeah, you graduated buds. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he didn't have a Buds. He didn't have a Buds pin. He had a full SEALs pin.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
He was the size of a truck. He had a stack the size of Montana. He had a SEALs pin, and he had that shoulder embellishment. And he was a gunnery sergeant on his shoulder, and his cover looked like shit. Like to the point that I don't even think the biggest shitbag Marine would wear that. But I would only call that out because of all the other stuff that's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rimshi, if you can find that again, please DM that to me. I think I have a fun segment that we could do on Friday.
I always
Master
thought
Funnery Sergeant. I will just look up Master Funnery Sergeant on.
Oh no, probably one of my favorite ones that I've ever seen was this dude. I think he was coming out of a fucking Walgreens or some shit. Someone recognized that something didn't look right. Dude was in what's the old pattern for ACUs, which is basically gravel. A dude didn't have his cuffs buttoned. The American flag was dead center in his chest on the Velcro. He was in tennis shoes, no cover outside, and he had nothing tucked in. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And I think the one patch he did have was upside down on the wrong arm.
All right, Jables, I'm gonna send this image to you via DM. Feel free to put it up on the screen.
I gotta see this shit. The funny thing is, I'm not military at all, but my dad knows all this military shit, so I grew around what all of it.
Oh,
did,
I remember
what
this dude.
all of it was.
I remember this guy now.
Oh shit!
All right, yeah. Let me swap back over to Discord.
I didn't know the Marine Corps made belts that big. Master Funnery Sergeant.
Okay.
There's a show over here which was on over here, which I think some of you guys might get a kick out of because it goes into the whole idea of national service and stuff. And it was called Bad Lads Army. And the idea behind it, the original season was just anyone, but then it went to Bad Lads Army, and it went to the case of where people who were getting in constant trouble with the they put them into 1960s British style training. And so many of it, at the end of it, actually signed up for the army.
I would do it. That sounds fun as shit to me.
But yeah, they actually got all the training. They actually it was really quite interesting to watch some of this go. And the people that were actually acting as the corporals in this thing were really high up in the actual military as well. So they actually knew their shit. It wasn't just actors doing this stuff.
Oh god, I remember this other dude now. Oh,
I want to see this.
Fucking.
Yeah, I want to see this. Where is this?
He's pulling it up.
Yeah,
There it is.
Yeah,
Like he's got the SEALs badge. He's got the SEALs trident on there, and he's a fucking Marine. He's in a fucking Marine uniform. That does not exist.
Yeah.
Suppose he's a marksman or rifle. Fucking what the fuck?
Of all those
Like,
bad
his goddamn-
supposed to be his like.
What the
But
fuck?
it was his tours of duty or something.
I almost want you to
Yeah.
send that to me, so I can be like, "Hey, tell me what every single one of them is, and if he actually has it in all the row."
Yeah.
Because my dad can tell you exactly where every single one could be.
Jesus fuck.
Well, it's not even in the right order. That's another factor.
Exactly,
not in
that's
the
what I was
right
trying
order.
to say.
Oh no.
It's not in the right order, but there are only two things you need from that picture to know for a fact he's full of shit. One is the fact that he's in a Marine Corps dress blues uniform, or any Marine Corps uniform at all. The other is that Navy SEALs trident. The fact that those two are together, you know this one's bullshit.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure you could go through it, but I don't think you. I don't know.
Jables, I sent you one from the Army's side. It's even funnier.
What?
Put that one up the second you get a chance.
Yeah, I'm at my parents doing laundry. Otherwise, I'd be at my computer and able to do this stuff myself.
And
I'm
over
doing
here
laundry
at
too.
work.
I love the screen share, bro.
That is fucking hilarious.
I get it for a second, and suddenly it's a party. What the hell?
I remember
This
this guy.
guy.
I remember this guy.
Oh yeah, that is
Bro, what is with the medals?
This
based
is,
on the
it's,
medals alone. You know that one's bullshit. Because they're not in nice neat rows.
man.
So
the-
let's see what we
like,
got here.
here's-
Fuck.
If that guy's
Infinite
if that guy's calling himself American military, you know that one's bullshit because of the horrible pattern that those medals are in.
It should
They're
be-
supposed to be in nice.
He's not
neat
even allowed to
rows.
have all those medals on at the same time like that.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, like a lot of those you can't
Well-
have at the same time.
Well, I'm a Marine, so I don't know Navy regulations as much,
No.
and but nonetheless, I know for a
Those-
fact that that one's bullshit because of how disorganized those are.
Well-
No American military would have disorganized medals like that. They've got to be in nice, neat rows if they're on.
And
That's kind
two,
of funny because I used to have.
Those
I actually
medals
used to remember the Facebook thread.
should be in his bar. They should be in the bar. So any
That's
which
what I'm
way,
saying.
you
They're
know
supposed to
who
be
has
in
a
nice,
medal.
neat rows.
Yeah.
Yes, nice neat rows, not like that. Yeah.
My Boy Scout uniform when I was 16 looked better than that.
The point I'm getting to, Derpy, is that the reason I know it's bullshit, what I'm trying to say is that they're in nice, neat rows. The reason I'm saying they're nice, neat rows.
You're in
Goddamn.
trouble there, buddy.
The reason I'm saying they got to be in nice, neat rows is because not everyone knows what having them on a bar means. That's more of a military and people who know military sort of thing to be aware of.
Yeah.
Where was this thing? There was one I saw a while ago, and it was
Everyone has a little tiny bar. And that's where it goes. It goes on your bar.
It's not a little tiny bar. What it is when you get your medals, you can buy medals and ribbons because both of those are the same. Like if you look at Master Funnery Sergeant, and literally you search Master Funnery Sergeant and you
each
look at
medal
images,
comes with
his
a
came up
ribbon.
first.
The ribbon
Yeah.
goes on the bar that's right above him. Like all his medals, that bar has that. Should have every single medal that he had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bar.
No.
You actually look at
Hold on, Derp. Hold on. So every medal has an associated ribbon. Not every ribbon has an associated medal. In the Marine Corps,
Yes.
if you're wearing your medals, you wear your medals on the left chest above the heart, and your ribbons that are just ribbons go on the right. The medals, the medals get mounted on a bar. You slide a medal onto. You can have up to 3 medals. You can have up to, I think it's 6 medals on a bar. Is that wrong? Do you remember, Brad?
What?
How many medals you can have on a bar?
I don't.
minus
I
six.
never got anywhere near. I never got anywhere to the point where I actually had to care
Oh
about
my
any
god!
of
I've just seen these
Yeah,
articles.
I only got to 3, so I don't remember. But
I
you can
couldn't
only
tell
have a
you, to be
certain
honest.
number. You can only have a certain number on a bar before you have to move. You have to add a second bar.
I believe it's 4.
No, you can have more than 4. I know you can have more than 4 because
On a
I've
rack?
seen people with more than 4. Yeah, on a rack.
It
may be different for Army.
depends on how.
Aguilar's saying in chat, depends on the bar. There are different lengths.
Well, no. There are definitely different lengths, but there's a certain number that you have to move it down to a second bar, and it's not like you're gonna have 4. It's not like you're gonna have 8 on one bar and then 1 on the row below. You're gonna have a total of 9, and you're gonna split them between the two, so it looks even.
Yeah, no, I couldn't tell you personally. It's been so fucking long since I've had to give a shit about that. Almost a year.
But,
shit.
But yeah, there is a certain number that you will, and that's why a lot of people pay to have their medals mounted.
Racks. Yeah, racks and shit.
Yeah. Hell, I had 3, and it was worth it for me to pay to have them mounted. Keep that in mind.
I just sent you a
there's-
picture, Jabus.
Yeah, it's even funnier. If you look up Sergeant Major Cornelius Davis, you get the dude I posted.
Sorry, what was that, Ward?
I've just sent you an image on Discord. It's not the one I'm looking for, but I found a really horrendous one.
Oh,
But
Be worth a giggle.
I'm saying he had like
Okay, I gotta see this.
service.
yeah.
Ward, send that to me.
I need to see this now.
No. I'll just present it.
You know, I'm curious.
I need to find this shit out now.
You're killing me.
Yeah, I gotta see this.
Yeah.
So this went from us talking about, at least we've stayed relatively on track with military talk.
Military stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this all started with the draft, and now women we either have to have women signing up for the draft. Oh God!
Or have to get rid of it.
yeah. Look at it. Fucking love it.
God.
Fucking
What the
love
hell?
that
Oh
shit.
my
Oh
God.
yeah.
There are
It's fucking
there are
beautiful.
plenty of nations who will have a fucked up setup like that.
They're not
However,
Korea. They're not Korea. Stop it.
like there are plenty of nations who will have fucked up setups like that. However, the U.S. and I'm pretty sure Britain are not two of them.
No, we're not.
Well, where do you think a lot of the where do you think we got a lot of our how to pin medals on uniforms came from?
Well, that's why I said I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't stake money on it, but
You'd make a pretty safe bet saying that shit ain't right.
yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm sorry, but even the Koreans with their fucking bullshit medal system they got over there, they're more organized than that shit.
Yeah, at least there even there are plenty of what is that?
Derpy.
Yes. I got it. I walked
you didn't
away.
you didn't react fast enough, so get fucked.
Yeah. Fuck you, Red.
Oh,
You're
nice.
ruining the
Apparently,
stream. This
so apparently,
impromptu Sunday stream.
yeah, so we're ruining it. Kind of off topic, like really off topic. Apparently, the Team 4-Star movie that they were doing dubbing for Hells came out.
Oh.
Hells came out. I'm gonna probably watch it later today.
Yeah.
Team 4-Star are the guys that do DBZ abridged and shit.
They managed to get land.
They got a dub contract for Hells. It's a new movie.
Oh, Brett, have you ever seen Range 15?
I haven't seen the movie. I've seen bits and pieces of it.
It's so fucking stupid, but it's fantastic.
I mean, I do find it hilarious how MBeth got Marcus Luttrell to say who's the lone survivor now, bitch. I do find that kind of funny.
I have that movie. I showed it to Miss Rimshi. She enjoyed it. Absolutely.
Well, it's even funny because a lot of the humor, it's like you have to be a service member to even get half of it.
But it's something that just doesn't take itself seriously.
Oh yeah,
it's fantastic.
Well, it's because MBest doesn't take anything seriously.
But that's what makes it so fantastic. Like, I mean, the guy they have playing the Marine, who, if I remember right, he is a Marine. I think they all did their prior service. Their prior service informed what branch they were in the movie.
Well, I know MBest is old infantry. I believe he's F-11 X-ray or some shit.
But the guy who was the Marine in it had his dick super glued into an inflatable sex doll.
Sorry,
why does it not surprise me even in real life?
Because you have met Marines.
Yeah, I've met enough of you fucking retards to realize you're gonna probably stick your dick in anything.
I am one of the rare exceptions. I make sure that there's no glue in there first.
Look. You're the rare Rimshi, you were the rare exception because you broke your ankle before you had a chance.
No, I broke my ankle before I could deploy. There was plenty of other stupid shit I could do.
Look. If you would it probably saved you from sticking your dick in a blow up doll with super glue because you didn't deploy.
You're assuming that shit doesn't happen in the barracks.
Oh, I'm not saying it doesn't happen in the barracks, but knowing you would have been so fucking bored out of your mind. It's like, God damn it. Let's try something fun.
Like I said, you're assuming that shit doesn't happen in the barracks.
Dude, believe me, dumb shit.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. There have been stories, and I have witnessed some of this dumb shit, but this one that I'm about to say is a prime example of stupid. Have you ever thrown a couple mattresses off of the 3rd floor of a barracks and then had people jumping off of that 3rd floor onto the mattresses?
Yeah, that sounds like something we'd do.
I believe it happened.
That sounds like
I
funny shit.
I know people tried it. Hold on. I know people tried it on the 1st floor, not the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair point.
Yeah, they threw it off of the 3rd floor and then jumped onto the mattresses from the 3rd floor.
Did somebody get an
Maybe
Article
second,
15?
but-
And this was before they started drinking.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, no, you don't need to be drinking to do stupid shit like that.
Like I said,
No.
it sounds like something I would do.
Sounds like a regular
Well-
weekend for my friend in the reserves.
Okay, so the military encourages you to get married. And if you're not married, everyone else in the barracks encourages you to drink and do stupid shit.
Because they can't get married. So it's like, if you're not going to get married, you're going to suffer with us.
I can't tell you how many times there has been a party going on, and they've got beer pong, they've got ping pong, they've got stupid shit. At least the people on my base were smart, and they started having the parties on the 1st floor.
Motherfucker, like, it was funny because I went to Fort Lee for my AIT, which was my job training, MLS training. We were right across the street from the Marine barracks. Y'all motherfuckers were raving almost every goddamn night. I could see it from the windows.
Yep.
And I'm like, they don't care. But like,
I grew up next to I grew up pretty close to Fairfield Air Force Base, and
Mouse.
I loved partying with people.
You know
from
what?
there, 'cause that's where like survival school is and shit. So they're fucking intense.
But yeah, no. The thing is, I wasn't mad that they got to do all this shit. I was mad that I didn't. I'm like, motherfucker.
Okay.
Is like,
here's the thing: they weren't allowed to do that. There's a difference between being allowed and just doing it.
well, the thing is,
Marines
as
just
far-
do it.
Like, yeah, they just did it, and it happened every other night. And I'm like, they've probably been caught and nobody cares, or they're really good at hiding the shit.
It's a little of a combination. They hide it. They hide the underage people.
Yes.
But it also happens so often that no one cares when they find Marines drinking.
Our army is like, yeah, no, you can't have fun because the second anybody hears loud enough music, they're gonna complain that a first sergeant is gonna be like, yeah, no, everyone must turn in their stereos to the platoon sergeant. Like, why?
Yeah. Let's talk about how fucked up American drinking laws are, since we're on the subject. You can join the military at 18, but you can't fucking drink.
Oh yeah, no, it used to be where you couldn't vote till 21 either, but they changed that because of Vietnam.
Yeah, in all honesty, I am of the opinion that if you're legally allowed to vote, everything else by law, everything else is established by law. So drinking age, smoking age, stuff like that should be based on when you're legally able to vote.
Yeah.
If you can legally vote, you can legally drink, you can legally smoke, you can legally get your dick stuck in an inflatable doll.
With super glue.
Here in Canada,
Well then, Rim Street.
the drinking age is 19. So like,
Lucky bastards.
and in Quebec it's 18. So
Nobody gives a shit about what the Quebecois
It's 18
do.
in the UK as well, by the way, to buy alcohol in the bar.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you guys also don't have a culture of fucking getting pissed drunk the first chance you get.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yeah, you have a
That's
culture
now,
of
right?
teaching kids how to responsibly drink.
Nope, I got taught
Yeah,
that by
but
my
in
parents.
Britain, in London, they have a culture of getting shit-faced the first moment they possibly can, and then continuing to do so every night till their liver dies and they're suffering from cirrhosis.
Yeah, seriously, we've got a major binge drink problem over here.
We-
Continental Europe is very different, but over here in the UK, it's awful.
Yeah, in all honesty, we should. But I stand by my statement of if you can vote, the law should permit you to do everything else that's limited by law. There are exceptions, so like senior citizen stuff, I can understand that. And by law, becoming president at 18 should not be legal.
We should up the voting age to 25, is what you're saying.
Then up the draft.
No,
age on that.
because there is nothing by law that changes at 25.
Listen here, rolling millennial, you need to shut the fuck up.
Nothing by law, but by natural biology. That's when you go through 25 is generally when you stop growing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Again,
Really
I'm
gonna get it.
again, Jables. I'm talking about by law. I'm talking about by law. So legally, you're able to. Legally, you are able to vote at 18. Legally, you should be able to drink at 18. Legally, you should be able to smoke at 18. Legally, you should be able to do whatever at 18 by law, with exception of senior citizen stuff, like I said.
Yeah, and also, Jables, can you stop trying to be devil's advocate using Roman millennial points? Please stop.
I don't even watch Roman Millennial. What are you talking about?
You don't have to. You have to look at her Twitter, and she's just fucking. I like Roman millennial, but it's like, okay, the voting age at 25. You must also own property and be married. The fuck?
Okay,
no,
so that one's based.
Okay, so that's based in history. That's not necessarily.
Yes,
So,
and
like-
we've also hit a point to where younger kids realize, like, why the fuck am I being sent off to die when I can't even vote for the person putting me there?
Yeah, no, we okay, so the whole thing was not everybody used to have voting rights. You used to have to own property to have voting rights.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
we also don't want to go backwards.
I
You
don't
wanna know
know.
what
I'm
else-
seeing
you
how
wanna know
people
what
I'm
else
seeing
is
how
happening?
people are voting and I kind of want to go backwards.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I can. Okay, so if you want to go down this path, Jables, if you want to go down this path, let's look at fucking Starship Troopers. I can kind of understand that perspective. You don't. The only way you can not be denied service to join a service is to be found mentally deficient in understanding of the oath. But it doesn't mean that you're joining the military. You could be joining a cook detail, but it's people who volunteer. But it's going to be a pain in the ass to get through, and you're going to
I'm
have
doing
to.
my part.
Well, not the movie, the book. The movie,
read the
in
book.
terms of this, was shit. The book is much better.
I
But-
haven't read the book, so
And anyone listening, there's probably like 2 people. Check out the book. Get it on Audible. It's relatively cheap.
It's also short as fuck too.
Yeah, it's pretty short. You can listen to it
Like,
within
not
a
even
day.
300 pages.
Read the book. Get it on audible.com. Hell, I think the first time I listened to it, it was bootleg on YouTube.
Something like that.
All right, do you want to talk about fucked up age and laws and stuff? Here in the UK, right, you have to be 18 to buy Call of Duty. At 16, you can actually join the army.
Wait, what?
yeah.
At 16 years old, you can join the army as a soldier. You can actually start your application when you're 15 years and 7 months old with parental consent.
Same
But you
here.
have to be.
I'm pretty sure that
Here, if you're 17 with parental
Yeah,
consent, you
that's
can
what-
join. At the moment you turn that one, I can understand. If you're doing it with parental consent, I can understand. You're limited, but you're still limited by the laws. You can't buy alcohol, that stuff, because you are doing it with parental consent. You're still
I know the
officially
bar does
under
this
your
thing, though.
parents' guide. The moment
But
you
in
turn
the UK
18, you are no longer under your parents' guide. I can understand that. But
Yeah, I can get it. But having said that, in the UK, you have to be 18 legally to be supplied Call of Duty. Legally, your parents cannot buy it for you.
I'm
Wait.
pretty sure that they kind of get around the.
that's not enforceable.
No, it's not.
Well,
but
that sounds like
technically-
the whole thing. Like, you have to be 18 to buy cigarettes, but it's not illegal if you're under 18 to smoke cigarettes.
yeah, which is.
But
like, it's
you're
just
condoning to the delinquency of minors if you buy cigarettes for people that are under 18.
Yeah, and it's you can't even.
You
give
can't
them-
provide someone under 18 with cigarettes,
Yeah.
whether it's them purchasing it or you giving it to them.
You can't do it.
You can't do it.
There's nothing,
But they
but
can
there's
smoke
nothing
it.
illegal about them smoking them.
Yeah, like at the school, at the high school I went to, literally you could be 16 and smoking a cigarette. They wouldn't give a rat's ass because it was better than you smoking weed. And there were some people who stupidly would get. I know a person who brought like a big old gallon Ziploc bag full of weed to school. and was showing people,
Share, please.
got caught, and got expelled for it.
Oh, I had a buddy that he lived on an illegal pot farm that his parents ran, and he would just come to school with cookies and just fucking hand them out.
Nice.
Fucking edibles, man.
That sounds
But
awesome.
back to the point, back to where we were. Yeah, legally, things should change. We're in a society where it's more moral. It's all about morality. That's why we're not letting kids buy alcohol. And by kids, we mean anyone under the age of 21. Well, that's nice. People who are 18 can go and die and never have tasted the legal sip of alcohol. Now, in the military, the legal age is 21, no matter what. The only exception would be if you're the CEO of your unit says during, like in the Marine Corps, during a function, if the CEO says, yeah, anyone 18 and older can drink during this. However, they are limited to X amount of drinks, and they can't leave for this amount of time.
Don't mind the fact
That's not wholly unreasonable.
Well, I think
That's not
I think we
unreasonable,
should,
but the thing is that
don't
that's
mind
the
the fact
only
that-
exception.
this
Put the gun down,
this
Derpy.
is
Take it as
given
banned.
to
Put the gun down,
somebody
Derpy.
in the
You're fucked up.
military.
Derpy,
Damn it,
put the
Derpy.
gun down or in your mouth. I
I'm
don't care
offended.
which.
No condoning suicide, Brad.
Don't do that.
No,
Don't do that. One
give-
of my favorite comedians just committed suicide this weekend. Fuck off.
Who was
it's,
it?
it's the same thing as
Steve
alcohol.
Brooks.
to me,
Derpy, shut up
with
for a
pistols.
second.
He didn't say loaded.
So what we
I don't care
should
if it's
do
loaded.
is
I know.
yeah.
It is
What we should do is we should promote people that demonstrate responsible drinking and responsible drug use. Even on top of that,
Yep.
we should have models of responsible substance usage.
I think that's the key point there, and that's one thing which, you know, in continental Europe they seem to get right, and they teach kids to drink responsibly. My parents taught me to drink responsibly. Did I always adhere to the lessons? No. Did I regret not adhering to the lessons? Yes.
Hangovers suck.
No. The hangovers I generally don't get. What sucks is when I'm throwing up everything from a good night out.
Oh, you ever got to the point where you dry heave? It's just like your body's like, get it out. There's nothing to get out.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Technically, vomiting would be a hangover, but it's on a different context. Yeah, because that's all I get. I can't keep things down when I get too drunk, but I don't have a headache. I don't feel bad beyond I vomit. That's really the only difference.
No, but I vomit before I go to bed.
I was a bit hungover today because I had a bit of a crazy feminist night last night.
What?
Oh yeah.
That white armor get a little heavy after a while.
I ended up going to a party last night because I was hanging out the bar and this chick was saying, yeah, this dude I've been seeing is saying that I shouldn't buy boxed wine to share with people at the party because it's going to be gone too soon. And then there was another chick that was like, oh, that's bullshit. And I was like, yeah, that's totally bullshit. It's your money. You can buy whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
And so I went on this whole adventure to the store, down to the party. I may or may not have done other things at the party. I don't fucking know.
You're just not going to share it live on air because we follow the law here on the Lesser Saints.
Yeah.
Well, no, I honestly don't know. I remember she also, on top of the boxed wine that she bought, she offered to share some vodka with me. It was fruity vodka. I remember I had
That's why you puke.
two cups of the wine. I didn't puke. I'm not a puker. Had 2 cups of wine and a couple cups full of that vodka, and it was fruity vodka. And then I don't remember anything else.
Derpy, is that
There's your
short?
problem.
Yeah. Well, I was already drinking
Well,
beforehand.
the question I've got is, did you find your dick in something that it didn't belong in?
No.
Super glue.
I
No?
woke up in
Okay.
bed.
No, the blender remained untouched.
Okay, cool.
I was gonna say
woke
the
up in
chick
bed.
and not the. I'm just gonna say the chick and not the duty seeing.
Oh
Well,
no!
he somehow ended up in a docking scenario where it's like I can't get unstuck.
It's like a Chinese finger trap.
I don't think I had sex with anybody last night because
Talk to the
doesn't
doctor
feel
in
like
a
it
week. You'll be feeling shit. You'll be feeling something.
yeah.
Why is it
Anyways,
burning?
fun, weird feminist adventure that I went on.
Did you own her with facts and logic?
Well, he definitely didn't do it with his dick.
The
Is she the
only
69th
feminist
person
thing
you've
that
done
she
that
was
to?
the only feminist thing she talked about was why is a man telling me what I can and can't do with my own money? I can't disagree with that.
Exactly.
So that's
Sorry, so who's telling?
I mean, I can't tell you what to do with your own money. I just think it's a bad idea.
yeah, that's
Like
fine.
you do you, boo. You do you.
I will
I-
state my
and
opinion, but that's
I
not me
explained-
stating what you can and can't do.
That's
I,
like someone
I,
telling
I
me.
explained to her that his reasoning was probably that this party, because I know the place that the party was at, partied there tons of times. It's gonna be gone in like 15 minutes, and you're only gonna get one cup out of it. That was pretty much his logic, I think.
Sound.
Yeah.
It's
But she's
sound
like, I
logic,
don't give a
just it
fuck, I'm
all depends
buying
on
it
how
to
he states it.
share. Yeah, but she was like, I'm buying it to share. Fuck it. It's like, yeah, you do you, boo.
Then okay. Derpy, are you going Heisenberg over there? Like earlier, I saw you pouring some like blue liquid into a thing, and now you're doing all
See, the thing is,
like,
Derpy.
Jesus Christ.
See, technically speaking, I think Derpy works for the mob at this point. He's just spraying the body.
Yes, that must be it.
What we need to talk about is when he brings out the big.
No, I'm
plastic
secretly
barrels.
Dexter. You didn't know this?
That's two
I don't
gigantic.
know,
It's
you
not a
look like
secret.
The
My
thing is, I don't think. Hold on.
teacher's
I don't
name is
think
Mr.
Dexter's
White.
a
I could get
fucking.
in contact.
I don't think Dexter likes Clop or is a furry. So
Dexter's certainly not a furry. I know that much.
Right?
Unlike our friend Derpy here, who is the second biggest furry I know.
the most degenerate person
I'm
not named
not
Hannah.
a furry, you weirdo.
Okay, you're a
Like, you are
pony. What's the difference?
Derpy-
Does not
Derpy-
equate
Yeah,
being
yeah,
a
Derpy,
furry.
Derpy. Just because you like My Little Pony, you are the second largest degenerate that's not named Hannah.
Yeah.
Hannah is more degenerate than me.
I said second largest.
Oh god. I might even say Keck is higher than me.
No, Keki's not higher than you. Keki makes it funny. You're just fucking weird.
Yeah.
Well, first step's admitting it there, buddy.
Yeah.
Fast the Gurries hard.
I mean, weren't you reading Emergence just recently?
That wasn't me.
No, I'm meaning Derpy.
He just
Wait,
got
what?
around to that? Derpy, did you actually just get around to reading Emergence?
What?
Do you even know what Emergence is?
No.
I guess not.
I think he's lying.
Oh wait. Yes. Yes, I did.
Oh, fuck
I
you.
did.
Oh, but you better know. Like, knowing you know.
I was like, wait, Emergence. Isn't that one that was like
It's the one where it's just
Oh.
like, you can't not look away because, like, you gotta see how bad it gets.
it's like super weird, but at the same time you're like,
You mean the Citizen
is-
Kane of manga?
I have the biggest Y boner right now.
See, that's your problem, not mine. I was just like, okay, we're hitting a point where I don't know if I can look away. I'm not hard. I'm just gonna not look away. Like, let's see how bad we can get.
I'm kind of a degenerate there, so
We already knew this.
Shocker.
I think I'm going to fit in here.
Yeah, Ward, totally. You should totally read Emergence. It totally is
Oh
not a
yeah,
bad time.
totally read it. It is
Totally,
fantastic.
it's the greatest. It's the
worth a
greatest
read.
doujin ever made. It's the greatest doujin ever made.
I'm actually not shitting you. Like, actually do. It's not that bad.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. If you put it in a real life context of like this shit could probably happen, it's a lot worse.
I take
Oh,
it you're
yeah.
referring to the
That
manga,
shit
though,
could
yeah?
actually happen.
It's a manga, yes.
I've heard something about this before.
It's a fairly long one. I'd say it's what, about 10 chapters?
It's like 100 and something pages, or
Yeah,
200.
so close to like 8 to 10 chapters or some shit.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Well, Derpy, I don't want to use your judgment if it's not bad or not.
Oh,
Look at it this way.
I've seen worse.
When it comes to Emergence, think of everything actually being possible in real life that happens, and it will actually get a whole hell of a lot worse.
Okay, cool. Fair enough.
Also, the ending isn't what you think it is. It really is not what you think it is. She's not. Yeah, no. Mommy doesn't hurt anymore. Yeah, true.
So Ward, you and I were talking about before the stream went live.
Hold on. Jable's
About
talking.
Yes, I am.
about
Shut
your
up,
opinion
Derpy.
on flat Earth.
Oh,
Look,
It
if
hurts
the
so
Earth was
much.
flat, the military would have driven tanks off of it already.
no, let's be honest. If the Earth was flat, cats would have knocked everything off of the fucking surface.
Yes, and the military would have found a way to drive a tank off of it to see YOLO.
Either off thrown a
The
mattress
Marines
or
would have
not.
found a way to fuck it.
It's also true.
And somebody would have thrown a mattress off the side to jump down onto it.
Look, okay, let me put it to you this way. The Marines are the best at losing things, fucking things, and destroying things. If you put a Marine in a sealed room with no doors or windows, if you are
You'll find a way
somehow
to fuck
able
it.
to do this and still observe, you can walk away for an hour, come back, and if you leave a marble ball in there with him, he will find a way to break it. There's literally nothing but him and the marble ball in there. He will find a way to break it, to lose it, or to fuck it.
Probably losing and fucking it.
Yeah, all three is
Well, there's
another
only one place he
possibility.
could lose it.
He could lose
what
it, break
happened
it,
was-
and fuck it in any order.
I
All
think
that
it.
happened was he fucked it
He
so
could
hard it
probably
broke, and
do
then he
that
lost
at
the
the
pieces.
same time.
No, Richie,
They're
what
also
happened was-
they've
what
also
happened-
had
Derpy,
war
shut up.
crimes of pissing on the
Derpy,
people.
shut up. All right, so Rimsky, what probably happened was he fucked the marble till it broke, and then he lost the pieces.
No, I was thinking that he actually used a marble, pushing it down the hole, broke, and then it got lost inside him.
Oh God, that's painful. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
I told you I'm a bit of a degenerate. I'm gonna fit in.
Oh, you're a bit of. You'll love Emergence then.
I'm still saying.
This is
fucking
not
read
an
it.
e-fuck stream.
I was gonna say it reminded
You're not
me.
gonna find
of
Emergence on
Naruto.
But at the same time, I'm also like fucking Jeff. I like eFuck. eFuck is fantastic.
See, that's the point to where it's like, you need to get away from me right fucking now.
What?
You find e-fucked, you like e-fucked unironically?
Oh yeah, it's fucking fantastic.
See, Derpy,
I
we need to have a
don't
conversation.
ever want to go to where you are.
We need to have a talk to where I think you've hit a point where you've seen too much to where you can only get hard by shoving SpaghettiOs up your ass. While
With
being
mayonnaise.
fucked at the same time.
No, not SpaghettiOs. No.
SpaghettiOs
Oh,
and meow.
You're not Kieran? So you're not Kieran? Come on, Derpy.
SpaghettiOs.
I know. I think Derpy knows. I know.
No, I'm not that much of a degenerate.
Oh, ask Jeff about him. It's fucking hilarious.
Why would I want to fuck SpaghettiOs?
No, you shove the SpaghettiOs up your ass while you're getting cucked.
Why?
You're assuming that there's a way for him to get cucked. He has
Well,
to have
I'm
a
pretty sure-
girlfriend first.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he can find somebody that he loves, and just they don't
Yeah.
love him back, and it's effectively cucking at that point.
Who? Wait, what?
Other than his waifu on the pillow, who's gonna love him back?
Derpy, it's not my fault that you
I'll
loved the pillow so
Pinkie
long
Pie.
it stands up straight.
I watched that
I got
goddamn pillow and all.
I don't believe you.
I got suspended from Twitter.
nasty.
I'll cut
I got
you,
suspended
Derpy.
from Twitter for a week for sharing a certain link to a certain porn video to Tariq Nasheed.
Who?
Oh God.
I need this
No.
link.
You need this link?
I like
don't need this one.
degenerate shit. If it
You
be
don't-
somebody dying, somebody getting fucked horribly, shoving a jar up them, something.
Oh my God.
I mean, I've seen the video where
one
they shove the
man,
jar
one
up and
jar?
it breaks.
I find it
I
One guy, one
interesting.
jar.
too.
I
Why do I
find
get
it
the
interesting.
feeling that you're the kind of person who looks up circumcision videos?
Oh, those are just fucking. No.
No, I have not. That's
Not even
surprising.
once.
But you can tell that he's going to after this.
Nah.
Wait, then there was a nah. Wait, maybe.
Nah. I'm good on that one. Like I already know what it looks like.
Do you? Do you really? Personal experience?
I already know what it. Never mind.
Yeah, after
You're just digging a hole, Derpy. Put
dig
down
that
the
hole.
shovel.
You dig that hole,
Put
boy.
down.
But I like digging the hole.
Stop digging
Put down the
hole.
shovel. If you go too
Back
far,
in the
Brett
basement.
will put you in that hole.
I don't need to put him in there. He's doing it to
I
himself.
like the hole.
The game was rigged.
Yeah,
from the
but you're going to
start.
be the one with the trigger.
Oh shit!
I'm the person that actually looks at Fallout and goes, I want to make this more realistic.
Include nudity and
Nudity, rap,
no, that would be
slavery-
modern day.
Huh?
That would be modern day. We're talking about 60s type era. That there wasn't rap in the 60s era.
I'm
I
not
was-
talking about actual rap.
Okay, so nudity, slave trade.
Beating your wife incessantly. Wait, we still have that.
Rape, murder. Well, it would be
We've already got rape and we've
Same
already got
thing.
murder.
not in Fallout.
Yes, you do.
You can't have. You can't really have that.
There are characters that have been raped in that game.
Make it so that every time you use
They're
Radaway, you have a 0.1% chance of getting an STD
Hey,
because
guys.
there are no clean needles left in this world.
I didn't want this channel monetized anyways. That's
This channel was never going to get monetized. They were going to put the N-word in the comments and get it demonetized as soon as it became monetized. Why are you complaining?
Right?
Just to fuck with you guys, I'm gonna like, start a thread of just shitty comments to get you guys banned. Thanks, YouTube. I can do this now.
Just start posting timestamps and making lewd comments about how we're posed.
I'm gonna start like fucking like attaching. I'm gonna start photoshopping your face onto gay porn. That'll be fun.
Make sure
to
it's got
open
my
the
helmet
comments
on it.
with,
That'll be
"Despite
funny.
only making up 13% of the population."
Brett, if you're gonna do that, make sure it's the one where I'm wearing my flight helmet. I think that'll make it even funnier.
It will. It will.
Okay, yeah, that is a humorous image. Just a guy wearing a flight helmet during sex.
Well, I mean, Scary Movie had this
Yeah.
dude. Scary Movie, the dude was telling the chick to put on more football gear and call her Brandon. What? I remember that scene. Anyone else remember that scene? I remember it.
I remember that scene actually. Yes, that was very strange.
Because he's kind of gay,
Kinda.
but he's not really gay. The end of the movie clarifies, like, dude, I ain't gay. What? We totally that one time, like, hey, like, it's like, hey, I wanted to go somewhere.
Hey, it's not gay to fuck another guy. Just saying.
Coming from the
When is
faggot that
one?
you are, I
What?
don't trust your words.
Once.
It's not gay if you got socks on.
Derpy, I'm pretty sure that's still gay. That is still
It's not gay if you've got boot bands on.
Hey,
This is also true.
It's just testing out the waters. It's not gay.
It's not gay until the balls touch. Wait.
Once may not be gay, Derpy, but the moment you do it for the 23rd time, I think you passed that point a while ago, and I think you're at what?
No,
3?
No, testing the water just means you still got to dip into the pool of gay, so it's still gay.
It's not gay.
Derpy, stop. We just stop. It's
Derpy, just because you want to get plowed doesn't mean that we're gonna let you justify it as straight.
Tickle.
Guys, if it's gay to have sex with a woman, I mean, they like dick.
I don't know what Gator does anymore.
I still say the G-spot.
Nobody cares what you say.
Scientifically,
Everyone just mute Derpy.
I did. He's just looking at like, did you just seriously fucking do that to me?
scientifically, the G-spot is in the anus.
Okay, so
If you're not gonna finish a sentence, then don't start one.
Derpy, right?
He just keeps saying anus. Why does he keep
that's
saying
where
anus?
the man's G-spot is, yes. But in that case, what you want to do is just get a woman to suck on you while she puts a finger up there. That's not gay.
To be honest, if the female does it, it's not gay.
Yeah, she could do. You could have a chick doing it as often as you want, and as long as it's a chick, or as long as you think it's a chick, it's not gay.
Even the strap on area, that's like some murky waters. Like the strap on area is
So
still kind of murky.
so what you're saying is pegging is not gay.
I personally would say that.
I don't know. Pegging's up for discussion, but
pegging is up for discussion.
I'm not going to commit either way on that one.
Look, at the end of the day, as long as the dude,
point that we scare her away.
As long as the dude isn't the one doing it to you, I'm pretty sure it's not gay.
That's my point.
Or as long as you don't think it's a dude doing it to you. Yeah, no, my girlfriend was
I'm pretty
pegging.
sure once you
You
find
know
out that
that's not a chick, that's a dude, right? No, that's a chick.
I'm pretty sure
that wasn't a strap-on. That was his dick. No, that was a strap-on, and it was a chick.
Dude, strap-ons aren't that warm. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
He said he put it in the microwave.
You don't put a plastic strap on.
Oh,
it.
wait,
God,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you don't think it's even if you think it's a chick and it turns out to be a dude, I'm pretty sure it's still gay.
No, because it's all intent.
Look, you're
It's
from the
the
Marine
difference
Corps. You
between
tell
It
us.
becomes
and
gay,
action.
but it doesn't mean that you are gay.
You're removing all the context out of the thing.
No. If you think it's a woman, regardless or not, or if you think it's a woman, but it turns out to be a man, it's still gay.
No, it's not, because that removes context. That's hard and fast rules, and hard and fast rules.
I'm pretty sure the thing proceeding to fuck you in the ass is a dude.
As
and I think it's a dude.
as we've learned from Count Dankula's whole court thing, context is important.
I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not illegal to get
sex
fucked
with a
in the ass
woman is
anymore.
still going to say no homo just in case.
No, it's not illegal, but it's still context that matters.
But even then, it's like the second you find out it's a dude, you just feel sick unless you're derpy.
His case showed you that it's not.
You feel sick, and it still not have been a gay act on your part.
But you still had somebody else's dick up your ass.
Yeah, but you thought it was a chick with a strap on, and you find out that it's not. It doesn't change the situation that you thought you were in at the time. You don't suddenly retroactively know it's the dude fucking.
Yeah, once you actually find out.
This is what this channel's about. These hard-hitting questions.
Yes, I'm pretty sure the second you find out that it was just a heated strap-on, and then thing of fucking you had a vagina, I'm pretty sure it's not gay at that point.
Okay, here's a question.
No, if you think it's a dude,
then you go
if you think it's a dude, it's still gay.
Can I please just jump in here, because there was a case over here in the UK where there was a girl who thought she was in a straight relationship. It turned out she was in a relationship with another girl who was using a strap-on. constantly. And the girl that actually was in question got jail time for it because it was this whole sexual assault thing because the girl in question didn't know she was sleeping with another woman. So she actually got the girl on sexual assault charges.
Yeah.
Legally codified in Britain. It's not gay.
Can you send me a link to that article, please?
I'll send you a few.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you're a woman in a thing fucking you with the strap-ons another woman, I'm pretty sure it's fucking gay.
That removes all context. You're the kind of guy who thinks straps are gay. You're a hard and fast rule that retroactively things can change based on knowledge known now. It doesn't matter the context of the moment. You're the kind of person who got who pushed. You're the kind of person who got Count Dankula put into a court case, which was utter stupidity.
Shit, jarhead, cocksucking piece of shit. Fuck you.
When?
The fuck did you just say? The fuck did you just say?
Excuse me.
Don't worry about it. Rewatch this.
No. I'm not going to rewatch a stream I'm on. Fuck that.
Okay, who wanted this link? So who was it wanted the link?
That's probably
Jables.
Okay, coming over to you in Discord.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gay after you find out that it's a woman fucking another woman.
No. Obviously, it's gay for the woman who was using the strap-on. Yes, but for the woman who thought it was a guy, that's not gay.
Woman 25 who pretended she was a man to dupe female friend into sex is found guilty of 3 accounts of sexual assault.
I shit you not. I remember seeing this on the TV first, and I went across and I made sure I went and checked various sources to make sure.
So what you're telling me is every time they've had sex, what you're telling me is every time they've had sex, it's been doggy or somebody's hasn't been facing each other.
What kind of woman doesn't like do like a quick little handy right before you fuck?
Apparently this woman.
Well, apparently the chick had a very flat chest and could pass.
Have to use a bind.
Yeah, but in the moment, you're not going to be able to. Yeah, no, I always wear t-shirts during sex.
When did this case happen?
This was what 2015, I think.
Okay, because I'm just wondering, like, the way that the like sociological climate is right now. I wonder if that would even hold up in court today.
Oh, it would.
I'm pretty sure it came up pretty close to like a couple of years ago. Like, oh.
Technically, it is the political climate of today, Biotech.
Well, I'm just
I think
all this push for like transsexual acceptance. I'm just wondering if, like, say in America, if the courts would do it the same way.
But no matter how.
Oh, in America, it really depends. It depends on the evidence brought to bear. The courts aren't as politically charged as people think they are. On a they become politically charged. Once it gets to the Supreme Court, it's generally a publicly charged situation. But the court itself is not a politically charged place. Not to the same degree people think, at least.
And the one thing I should point out in question here is the woman here who was found guilty did not identify as a trans man. She identified as a lesbian woman.
Okay.
So she wanted to get with this girl so bad she lied about who and what she was.
Okay, so that's a little bit different.
It's still fucking gay.
So here's a question.
I think I know.
Here's a question which I have been asked by friends of mine, and I honestly don't know the answer. Would you ever knowingly date a trans woman?
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Maybe.
I have dated.
Well, okay. As of now, I have to say no because I don't want to screw up the wonderful relationship I have. But were I to be single, maybe
that is your soon-to-be wife.
She's not angry.
Well,
you're the angry one, Brad.
Rimshi, your
we all know
relationship is going to be screwed up by me anyways. We already know this.
No, my relationship's not going to be screwed up. It's just going to be more interesting.
I mean, if you're into Jables watching from the closet, I mean that's all up to you.
Oh, I've never been in the closet.
Why would you tell him about the camera?
I didn't say shit about the camera.
I didn't say he had a videotape, but I'm saying he could be in the closet watching.
Oh, I don't think Jables is in the closet anymore.
Oh no.
Oh no, I've been in the closet for a long fucking time.
Does your mom know?
We are no.
She does now.
Anymore, we already went through subjects that she probably closed the screen.
Are you gay? No, Mom, I'm not gay.
I'm bi.
Why haven't you brought a woman home? Because I don't want to, Mom. Why? I've been having that conversation with.
Actually, no. That's actually a weird thing. I've never willingly introduced any of my girlfriends to my parents.
They just happen to find you.
Okay, in my case, my girlfriend knew my parents before I knew her.
Oh, yeah. Your girlfriend knew your parents before you knew your parents. What?
No. No, okay, so in my specific case, my girlfriend is one of my sister's best friends.
Oh, no, you done fucked up. You done fucked up.
Dude. No, he's good.
Don't do it.
She's a sweet lady.
Yeah, I didn't... Angry. You hear her on the Discord when she's getting animated. She's not angry. She's animated. There's a difference.
That's what my ex-wife
is. Your sister the angry one?
Animated.
You should bring her on stream more often.
No,
I would consider it, but quite often she's working on Fridays. I lucked out that one time.
Did you know Tinder
that was a perfect fucking week.
So back to what, Derpy?
Wait, what?
Dude, Derpy, the fuck did you just say?
Ward, could you say that again?
No, Derpy said something. I said, what did he say, Derpy?
Tinder now has so you can match with guys or girls, like literally. So there's
what
the
you're
gay
saying
side
is
of
I
Tinder.
thought they always had that.
No, I didn't. Yeah. I've never seen it.
No.
Yeah, Tinder has had that. You're thinking of Grindr that hasn't always had that.
Yeah, you're talking about Grindr.
Grindr is gay.
Yeah, but now they offer it for lesbians and
Grindr is solely
bi
for gay
people. Yeah, it's supposed to be solely for gay people, but they have opened it up to everyone.
Because they're trying to be
the fag hags on that site.
It's really weird because I keep getting people like hitting me, and I'm like, what?
Then hit back.
Oh, I have been hitting back.
That's fucking gay.
Yeah, and then they realize who you are and go, nope.
They see the clop on they see the clopping on the wall. It's just like, God damn it.
Yeah, I don't want rarity sloppy seconds.
I mean, I may be a furry, but this guy goes too far.
I don't have clopping on
Fast all the Gurries 2019.
Cloppity, 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 clop.
Shut up, Jables.
I don't even like Pony anymore. Literally, I have
anymore.
Anymore. Derpy, I'm pretty sure it's one of those things. It's like being a pedophile. You think you're out, but it keeps pulling you back in somehow.
Not really. No. That's not even no.
It's like riding a bicycle without a seat. You may have stopped, but there's still marks.
Hey, that's fun. What are you talking about? Nothing like a nice rod.
Derpy, you're the deployment hoe. You were a deployment hoe.
What?
You're not good enough to be Jody, and Jody at least I have respect for.
By comparison, at least.
By comparison, I have more respect for Jody than you.
Oof.
All right, so Jody is the catch-all term in the military for the person keeping your girlfriend and/or wife or spouse company at home while you're away.
Okay.
Okay.
I have respect for the dude because it's like, hey, he managed to get a hold of my fucking wife at that point. Huh.
Yeah, Jody is usually the guy she says don't worry about, and then you go deploy and she sends you a Dear John.
No, they half the time they won't even do that.
That's
They
so
won't even send you
fucking
Dear John.
sad.
Yeah,
You'll
but I'm
get
just saying what
divorce
most
settlement,
people are
nothing.
going to recognize, Brett. I'm saying what most people are going to recognize. They're going to
Are
recognize
your
the
best
Dear
friend?
John.
The Dear John is no longer popular. It's divorce proceedings in the mail while you're deployed.
Yeah.
Or like my best friend, you get home and pop in a tape and see your wife fucking a.
This isn't
teenage
Jarhead.
kid?
Put the hunter. Just stop.
You can stop pretending now, Derpy.
What? I have a friend that literally was.
Yeah, that you have a friend.
He got home.
Derpy.
He got
Derpy.
home.
Want to know how I think you're calling? Want to know why I think you're bullshitting? Because that exact fucking scene happened in the movie Jarhead.
No, that literally is what happened.
I don't believe
In
you,
my
you
mind.
piece of shit.
No.
In my mind.
I mean, it's
That
not
exact
impossible
scene
for it to happen
happened in
multiple
Jarhead.
times
Yes, it
throughout
did
this
fucking
story.
happen.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Yes, and the evidence
Show
proves
me
that
the
you're
tape.
bullshitting.
Off
It came
air,
from the
I
movie.
can give you his name. Off air, I will give you his name.
Buddy.
And that's literally what
Dox your
happened.
buddy. Dox your buddy so I can find the video of him getting cucked.
I could.
Well, it's not him getting cucked unless he's watching.
Well, I mean, he had to put the video
He
in
watched the
somewhere.
video. I was gonna say.
He's
He watched the video.
Yeah, but it's yeah.
But yeah, so that actually did happen.
Derpy, actually, I know a bigger reason why I think this is bullshit. You didn't ask for a copy.
Well, that
Why
would be
would I want
distribution
a
for
copy
free
of an underage guy fucking his ex-wife?
So you're telling me you didn't want
Wait,
an extra copy of child porn.
his ex-wife fucked an underage guy.
Yeah.
That she could be put to jail for that if it was
He
actually.
got home, was gonna watch some he thought it was like a mail home, basically mailing to him when he was deployed. No, it wasn't.
This sounds exactly like Jarhead.
This sounds exactly like Jarhead.
Maybe, I don't
I've
know.
not seen the
Jarhead,
movies,
he
so I
watched
can't
it with
comment.
his entire
Either
Jesus.
you're full of shit or your supposed friend is full of shit. One of the two.
Exactly. I don't know. This is how it went down there.
Is that what you were
Okay,
told?
did
Yeah,
you
no.
see the video? Did you see the video?
Discord movie night. We're gonna watch the movie Jarhead. Derpy, you better fucking be there.
I've never seen Jarhead, and I will.
All right. Oh, you know what's fun?
What?
One of the biggest reasons I think this is bullshit is it sounds like you did not see the video of his wife getting.
I
getting
did
plowed.
not.
I mean,
Anyone I know in the military who got caught in that situation would be sharing it with every other Marine.
He was
That
in
they know.
Army.
Can I heard a
I
story.
thought you
now-
said he was a Marine.
Derpy is avoiding
he was
saying
Army,
that he
they'll still
watched
fucking
it
do that
because
shit.
his face
Can
is
I-
attached to
Army.
the stream and he doesn't want to go to jail for watching child pornography.
Yep.
He's playing dodgeball.
No, I
I'd like to-
wouldn't even want to watch it. And two, that too.
Now that I think about it, if they actually did circulate that, they would actually be charged a fucking child porn ring.
How young
circulating
is the
child
kid?
pornography?
No. What it'd be like, what would be going on is he'd have a video of the instant of proof. It's like, look what the fuck my wife was doing while I was gone. Look at this bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey, he wouldn't be sending the video around. He'd just be like, look at this bullshit.
And then his
How
buddy
many
would
That'd
be like,
still
hey,
probably
can I
be
get a
arrested
copy
for
of that shit?
possession.
I'm going to jump in here with a story. Now, this is one of the things which is not the Jarhead thing. It's not someone coming home and finding the video or any of that shit. But it's how I kind of see what you're saying there. He would share it around. When I heard this story fairly recently from my mother. My mum and dad, they got invited out to a friend's house for a movie night. And they're thinking, dinner, chocolate, popcorn. And
I like where their story's going. Go ahead.
Poontang in the movie box. Who actually put Poontang in the movie box?
It wasn't a home movie, but when they got down, they kind of lowered the lights like it was a cinema, and they put in a porn movie. My mum just got up and left, and my dad followed her because he's like, "This is not my shit. Why would I watch it if I can go home and do it?" But that was in the army, and again, the army has got a bit of a fucked up attitude to sex, I think.
Well, look at it this way. If you're surrounded by a bunch of the people of the same sex and you ain't gay, and there's really no privacy, you're gonna basically go to what feels the best, and that's porn.
Yeah.
Okay, keep this in mind. Keep this in mind.
Fuck off, I'm jerking off, and you look them
Pretty
dead
much,
in the
yeah.
eye while you're doing
Okay,
it.
boot camp is the prime example of this, but even after boot camp, for the most part, you'll see stuff similar to this, but not quite the same. When I went to boot camp, I was our showers had no stall walls. It was it was a room with showers on either side, and on the back wall completely open.
Prison showers.
Yeah. We had prison showers. There wasn't even like a thigh-high wall for any sort of privacy. Nope. Completely bare. The bathrooms, they had side walls because they didn't want you reaching over and touching the guy that's on the shitter next to you. But it had no door, so I would have conversations with the guy across from me while dropping a deuce like I was sitting there eating food.
Yeah, that's why.
After boot camp, we go to MCT. Well, yeah, now have doors on the shitters, but that's about the only change. And that's pretty much how it stayed until I got to the fleet.
Yeah.
Actually, no. That's not true. When I got to training in Pensacola, Pensacola had the same thing. When I got to New River for some more training, then we had a room that was a bathroom because we were two to a room. Well, but that was the first time.
Well, Rimshi, like 2 weeks ago, like when we were discussing how the show was going to go, you were on the shitter. I joined in, sitting on the shitter in solidarity.
Yeah, no. Okay. Context for then, I was being dumb. Here's some context for that day. This is stupid on my part. I took a laxative that morning and didn't think, oh, it's got an 8-hour delay. Guess when it hit?
4 p.m.
So, can anybody tell me how that Jarhead scene ended? Because I can tell you if it was exactly.
From what I remember correctly, it was a way that scene ended. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. The dude that got the video like fucking stormed off all mad and shit, and everybody else just kept watching.
At the very end of the video as well, the wife ends up taking off her mask and says goodbye to him, like consider this issue of divorce or something.
Goodbye,
like
you fucking idiot or some shit.
Nope. That's exactly not it.
Oh, so one minor detail is different. Therefore, the entire thing is different.
He got home. He made a bowl of cereal, supposedly. Still has the bag next to him. Eating the bowl of cereal while watching this. And then saw it. And then was like... And then just walked out the fucking door.
Yeah, that sounds exactly the same. As much as it matters.
Yeah, that was pretty much the same thing minus the extra audience.
Yeah,
maybe it was fair. I don't know.
Therapy, we call bullshit on your friend's story.
Yeah, your friend is full of shit.
Okay, I'm not saying it was true or false. I'm just saying what he said.
Probably what happened is he cheated on his wife, and he wanted a reason to blame her in his friend's eyes.
Ooh.
I don't know. To be honest, it was one of those things to where the sheer amount of effort that takes to record yourself fucking somebody else, videotaping it, and then sending it overseas instead of just sending them divorce papers. Like, you gotta be fucking dedicated to making this person miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jarhead one, that is really weird.
You know, since we're on the subject of transgender and the military, why don't we combine the two? Transgenders in the military. And talk about that.
Oh yeah. So here's my opinion on it. I don't give a fuck as long as they're not using military funding for their surgeries.
That's fine.
Oh, okay. Here's my opinion from an active duty perspective. Military personnel have one of the highest suicide rates of all. Well, maybe not active duty, but veterans absolutely have the highest suicide rate. One of the highest suicide rates in the country. 22 veterans a day take their own life.
Really?
Yeah. Walk for 22.
That's the statistic.
Statistically, 22 veterans a day take their own life.
If you were to take the conglomerate of all deaths proven to be suicide, all that fun shit, put them in aggregate and divided by 365, it comes out to roughly 22 a day.
Transgenders are another group with one of the highest suicide rates.
Well, I mean,
why the fuck would you want to combine those two groups of high suicide rates into one? That's just going to create a subgroup that's even higher on the suicide rate.
You make a good point, actually.
Who's dying?
It's the same point that everybody has already said, though.
But it's a point no one listens to. They act as if it's a point not made.
And they think
that's because statistics
branches into a larger discussion about suicide overall.
Yeah, and either way, I believe the old rules for enlisting in the military and being transgender was like you had to have had everything beforehand. Like this is going through the initial enlistment process. You had to transition beforehand, and I believe 18 months you had to be living in your preferred gender comfortably.
You had to either transition beforehand, or you had to not transition during, and you had to pass psych evals, pretty much.
Yeah, effectively. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? That I'm fine with, but I still don't think it's a good idea. Based on what I said, based on the suicide rates of both groups, you're potentially creating a larger suicide rate for a subgroup.
And then in the context of just the transgender suicide rate, it's like, at what point during the transition do they kill themselves?
Yeah.
If it's relatively early on, then the initial rules put in place that Obama put in, they would be perfectly fine because it's like they're not gonna get past enlistment anyway. They're dead.
From what I understand, and I'm not completely read up on this, but from what I understand, from what I've been told by people who have apparently been reading up the studies, is that it's really hard to find where they are in their transition period as to where they actually commit suicide. There seems to be a really high proportion right in that middle section, which is where they're either just getting into the actual point of transitioning and going through the surgeries because there's a hell of a lot they're dealing with physically and emotionally, and there seems to be a proportion of people taking their life because they're struggling to cope with that side. But there's also that bit in the short period after, which is trying to get people to accept that they've actually gone through the surgery, gone through everything like that, and they find themselves isolated from everywhere, and that gets very emotionally difficult for them.
And that's reasonable. But the biggest thing I see...
Everybody wait 1 second. Because we're live, I do have to say, I'm pretty sure everybody here is for trans people and everything like that. I just have to make the clarification real quick because we're live.
Yeah. I got no problem with them.
Well, like I have no care. I give no shits if you're transsexual or not. That's not going to affect me in my life. If you are transsexual, it's whatever. My statements are based on the fact on statistical facts that these two groups are two of the highest suicide groups. I don't want to make another group that's even higher suicide, and that's where I stand.
I'm throwing out a little disclaimer. That's all I'm doing.
Another factor would be another factor is that
hold on. I don't give a shit if you're transgender. It's if you're a furry that I got a problem. Fast the Gurries, everyone! Fast the Gurries.
Mm-hmm.
You're first on the list, Derpy.
Good. Anyway, well, here's another factor though. From what I've heard of statistics, transsexuals transsexual suicide rates before transition and after transition are roughly the same. Yeah, there may be a higher instance during transition, but there is no change in the suicide rates before and after transition.
Well, how far? Like that's the thing. That's why I was asking. Like, how far or how much longer after are they killing themselves? If it's like 5-6 years down the line, then I don't know. If it's like within the first 6 months of them transitioning, then what we had in place now should not be a problem.
I don't know if
there's the whole causation thing.
You can go to YouTube and look up transition regret. There are a shit ton of videos of people that either went through hormone or they went the full way and they became post-op, and they regret it. So there's a huge issue with
Either
that.
way, there's no easy answer to it.
Yeah, there really isn't an easy answer.
The thing is, like, from what we have now, where I believe it's if you're about to enlist, you have to transition beforehand and be living comfortably 18 months. And then after that point, the psych evals for enlistment come in. And then if you pass those, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I think it should be on an individual basis. Like, if you're having a psych evaluation and you're of stable mind and you are transgender, I think in that case, like, you should be allowed to.
And it's the people that have been in for a couple of years and then decide to transition. What the fuck, Derpy? Oh, it's not Derpy. It's Rimshi.
That was me opening and closing the sliding door to check on the laundry.
I can hear the wind chimes.
All right.
But yeah, it's one of those things to where it's like, I could see the problem coming in where it's like they've been in a couple of years and then they want to transition. I could see that as being a problem, but the whole alternate, it has to come to a point where at what point in the transition are they? At what point do they want to transition?
There's also a factor of you're putting a requirement on the government to provide medications to individuals who have transitioned, because you have to provide the meds that they need to take in order to maintain their transition, and that creates a logistical issue overseas. That's a medical issue that, with most other medical issues, would be something that is disqualifying, depending on what it is.
Can I just say here, at one point, I was thinking, when I was 16, 17, 18 actually, I was thinking of joining the army in the UK. I was told I would be disqualified because I have chronic hay fever.
Chronic hay fever?
Yes.
It's spring allergies.
Oh.
Yeah. Pretty much, unless I'm on steroids, which I have to actually take steroids in tablet form, from March through to June, I spend April through to August in absolute misery, sneezing constantly. And that's when I'm in an office.
To piggyback on that, I've got ADHD. I would have been disqualified from joining had I not been off my meds for at least a year prior to joining.
Yeah.
I got disqualified because I was selling mine at Job Corps.
Well, I don't think you want to admit that.
Well, don't sell.
I don't really care.
Don't sell drugs.
Shut up, Jables.
You're one.
Right. I'm definitely not.
No right to talk about any of this, Jables.
I didn't have evidence or something like that I was off of it for so many years.
I don't know. At this point, we've reached a stage in society where I believe it's 75% of the general population is ineligible for military service based on physical and mental problems, and it's not just being fat.
Yeah,
we are. I mean, we
if
are.
You've had surgeries of any kind. Military don't want you. So,
yeah.
So
if you've had any history of depression, if you can't lie about that shit very well, you're not getting in.
So
we've finally come full circle.
What do you guys think about going back on
just because this, I might have actually got disqualified.
Take your ass off.
Hold on.
It wasn't ass. It was my knee.
Close enough.
Ward,
there's a difference.
I was going to say, going back to more of kind of how we started off, which is the draft and such like, what would you guys think about offering military service as an alternative to prison for people?
Well, okay, that's a contentious thing. Because that depends on the on what they're being charged with. For example, my uncle, the main reason he joined up with the Marines and went to Vietnam was because the judge said it was either the Marine Corps or prison. He went with the Marine Corps.
Should have gone with prison.
And in certain people, it can absolutely turn their life around. They can get a completely different perspective. However, that's still an issue where it's similar to the draft. It's someone who, technically they volunteered, but it was an ultimatum voluntary action. Yeah. You could either go into the military, or you could deal with Bubba in prison.
So here's my thing is on joining the military as opposed to prison. I don't think because we have women in the military, I don't think rapists should have that option.
No.
Well, military also.
Like I said, it depends on the charge. It really depends on the charge, and on top of that, I'm not even sure I support it. Yeah. I know people who have benefited from it, but at the same time, it's still not actually volunteering for service. You're volunteering to not go to jail. You're not volunteering to join the military.
Yeah, to be honest, and with the sheer high rate of recidivism we have, I don't think it's going to work anyway. So the sheer amount of recidivism is making it to where it's not really a viable option.
See, the thing is, I kind of think that looking at this from the other side is because I think prison needs to be about punishment, yes, but I also think in certain cases it needs to be about rehabilitation and turning things around. And I think that's
not how Americans' prison system works.
So
here, really.
The recidivism rate is not necessarily due to them committing crimes. What happens when you go to prison is you actually end up leaving with a bill that you have to pay. And a lot of times people get back in to prison because they're unable to pay the bill.
And
which
also,
is why they were dealing drugs in the first place, so on and so forth. And our prison system is fucked.
And getting out of prison, then trying to find a job is a hell of an issue. However, I'm not on about the major felonies here, but if you've got some more, end quote, minor crimes, and then you've gotten told, look, either you can go to jail for a year or you can go and sign up for the military and give yourself a chance to turn your life around. If people go, that might actually help, and then it can turn the life around.
Again, like I said, it depends on the actual charge, in my opinion. It depends on the charge. And it also depends on a case-by-case basis. Some people, there is a chance it can help them. But there are other people where, no, it's not going to help them because they're not looking to be helped. They're just looking to stay out of jail.
Yeah,
and then it could potentially land them in a situation where they're in more hot water because because in the military, let's say it's a minor drug offense. You're
they won't even let you fucking listen if you get a minor drug offense.
Pot or something.
Your ass is out.
Well, I mean, your initial thing into the military. Well, the military, it could help you stay clean because they're going to piss test you every month.
In reality,
they're staying clean. They're not staying clean because they are just going to go smoke. Well, now they're going to get caught by the piss test. They're going to get separated from the military, and they haven't completed their term based on their agreement with the judge, and they're not going to finish their agreement with the judge, and they're going to end up in jail because the agreement was not completed.
Okay.
And now you've just wasted taxpayer money on training that could have been used for someone that actually could go through with it. And as it stands,
we're also wasting taxpayer money on a prison system that could be used to
exactly any which way we're using that money.
To be fair, last time I checked, military lightened up their stances on pot.
No, fuck no.
Last time
Jables, that's a big fat fucking no.
In Canada, the military are allowed to smoke cannabis now. You just can't do it 8 hours before duty.
That's because it's legal throughout the entire country. So
that's new.
That's a very different situation.
Even if it was legal throughout the entire country, the military will probably still say no.
Well, military might not. It just depends on the situation.
Because it doesn't matter what the rest of the law says. You're still filed under UCMJ.
Yeah, no, under UCMJ, absolutely. But at the same time, the reason it's illegal under the UCMJ is because it's illegal federally. They would potentially change those laws if it was no longer illegal federally. They'd probably go to treating it more like alcohol.
I don't know, man.
But to be fair,
military
they
is a
also
very
did
fickle
start.
place when it comes to shit like this.
They did start breathalyzing people when I was getting close to getting out.
Yeah.
So they would probably start doing something similar.
I don't know.
Like you're getting a blood test or breathalyzed or this or that when once a month randomly, because they don't do like, okay, the 15th is the day you're getting your P test. The 15th is the day you're getting breathalyzed. No, what they do is at some point during the month, it could be a Thursday, it could be a Tuesday, it could be at any point during the week. You don't know. It could be at any point during the month. You don't know. But they will breath test you. They will piss test you. And you the first leak of the day. And no one in the military drinks enough water in order to be able to do it that quickly, so it becomes really fucking annoying. It's just one of those situations where it's a pain in the ass. Trust me. And even then, even with that, that's not enough of a deterrent for certain people. Because there were 3 guys at one point who were NJP'd, which stands for non-judicial punishment. 2 for pot, 1 for... They popped on the piss test. Because they're idiots.
That's rough.
Like, it's not that hard in the military to avoid getting in trouble. It really isn't that hard.
I don't know, man. When you just
the
got
main issue comes not hard to not get in trouble. It's really hard to find stuff to do that's entertaining and still not get in trouble. You get fucking bored.
Oh, I'm very well aware.
Well, I know you're aware, but there are people in here who have never served.
Yeah, when it comes to a lot of military service and shit, take the most boring thing you can think of, multiply it by 2, and drag it out for 8 hours a day. And sometimes even longer.
Yeah.
I was in the air wing, so I lucked out. We constantly had work that was going on to the point that they would keep us late sometimes because they needed us to finish the work.
Yeah.
Stupid. But what would often happen is that as soon as we got out, as soon as we got on Liberty for the day, we would end up, a lot of guys would end up doing stupid stuff. I'd go back to the barracks and I would play video games. Or I'd watch movies.
Same here.
Because I had internet and I could play it. Now, the one time that wasn't true was when I was stationed in Pensacola for training, because the barracks we were in did not have internet worth a damn. I had bought a wireless network device at the time, just so I could get cell phone internet and be able to go and do stuff. Because you didn't even have cell service in that barracks. The pretty much all the other barracks had internet built in to provide to the building. Every single other one on base, except the barracks building I was in.
So you were fucked hard.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times. And our Liberty policy there was we had a multi-tier Liberty policy there. We had red cards, which meant you couldn't leave the barracks in anything but camis. We had a yellow card, or which eventually became a green card, which was you had to go if you wanted to go anywhere, including off base. You couldn't go off base on a red card, by the way. If you wanted to go anywhere, including off base, you had to go with 2 other people. And then blue card, which meant you only needed 1 other person to go with.
Huh.
I can't tell you how many times I just snuck out on my own and went to the USO on base.
Yeah,
I never got caught, which that is the story of my military career. There's only one time I came close to getting caught about doing anything stupid, and I don't want to talk about that time.
What did you do?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it. At least not live on air.
Yeah, that seems very different from the Air Force because I ended up doing coke on an Air Force base one time. That was fucking weird. Probably shouldn't have said that live,
here's the biggest thing about it. Like, you don't get caught as long as you're smart about it. And the biggest issue is a lot of people are dumb and do stuff that they're gonna get caught doing. Like one person got caught while we were there. Got caught doing underage drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
What? I don't know how many people got caught doing stupid stuff. There were several people who were who got med-sept. One of the guys who was getting med-sept was being a dumbass, went out into town and got the monster symbol tattooed just above his junk.
Oh my god.
And went around the barracks showing it to everyone.
Jesus Christ, moron.
It's a monster, don't you know?
We are talking about Marines here.
That's just military in general. They're fucking retards.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is that it's not the military that's retards. It's the rules and regulations and how strict they are that creates the morons. Because most people aren't that stupid when they join. Most people won't be that stupid if they don't ever join. It's only the fact that they join, they get bored, it's utterly stupid. Like, it's a big joke. Stand by to stand by in the military in general. Like,
stand by to stand by.
Well, I have heard stories about gunnery sergeants who don't want to go home to their wife, so they don't release their shop until like 8 or 9 at night, and that shop has to be back at God awful in the morning the next morning.
6 o'clock.
Like their show up time doesn't change, but they get held till 9 at night because the gunny doesn't want to go home to his wife.
Yeah. I've had that before. I've definitely had that before. And then it's always funny because it's like, we got so much shit to do. It's like, no, you just don't want to go home, asshole.
No, I'm not even talking about them saying we got so much shit to do. It was literally them having like a conversation with the entire shop or sharing stories, or at some point it degenerates into them just bullshitting with everyone so that they have an excuse for their wife when they go home. Oh yeah, I was there late with the shop again. And you know, but let's be generous. After a year of them doing this, the wife's probably fully aware. Yeah, he's going to be gone till 8 or 9 or 10. I'll just bring Julio.
Joey, where you at, bro?
Yeah. Well, I'll get Jody, and we'll have some fun.
Yeah, no, you had the gunny do that. I had most of my officer corps do that to me. Where
I didn't have a gunny do that. I got lucky. I said I've heard stories that were verified from multiple people.
Yeah, no, I had the wonderful time of top and officer corps just bullshitting until half the day and then start their paperwork. And then we didn't leave until like goddamn 8, 9. something like that.
Well, the funny thing about the Marine Corps is the CO or the officer is going to be like, oh yeah, no, this is going to be short. It takes them a half hour, which apparently they think is short. They'll be like, all right, everyone, go home. And Gunny's like, all right, hold on, everyone, just to piggyback off the captain there. And that takes 2 hours.
Yeah.
More often than not, you'd have officers going, okay, this is going to be short, and it'll take 5-10 minutes, which doesn't feel that long. But Gunny will still take an hour, 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. Don't you just love Top? Top's a great person. He looks out for you.
When he's not looking out for himself, at least.
Oh, no, him looking out for himself is him looking out for you, he'll tell you.
Yep.
Because you obviously don't want to go home to your family. Yeah, no, it was a fun time. Oh god, I'm trying to remember exactly how this happened. Okay, I remember. So AIT, we had a few people, different platoon, all that fun shit. They had families on base because Tough Spot. Well, they were basically second they trained dumb training, they're moving their family to wherever base they were, and they're supposed to get off at like 4 or 5. That's when the day generally ends for them. They had to, and they couldn't find the platoon sergeant or the first sergeant. They're the ones that's supposed to release them. What happened was they were waiting for like 3 hours for the platoon sergeant, who was taking a sweet ass time. The guy was a fucking asshole and a jackass. Big fucking Jamaican dude. He was like, it's all just whatever. Fucking whatever. They had to wait for the commander to walk outside of his office and said, sir, please, we've been waiting for 3 hours. We need to go home. Commander's like, whatever, dude. I'm fucking like whatever. I don't care. Go ahead. I gave it clear. Platoon sergeant finds out about this, and then the next day at PT proceeds to fuck over the entire platoon because he was too lazy, and the people that had to go home to their families didn't go through him. That was a fun day.
Yeah, that sounds about right. See, the biggest issue with the military is that it breeds people like that.
Well, just remember, the most ambitious assholes are the most incompetent assholes.
Well, I mean, the prime example, I'll go back to boot camp. You have, in the Marine Corps, we had drill instructors. In Army, you get drill sergeants. Drill instructors are fucking pit bulls of nasty, nasty hate. Well, by the end of boot camp, roughly half of your platoon is sitting there going, I can't wait to become a drill instructor and torture the shit out of some fucking recruits like our drill instructors did. One day it'll be my turn. That's what it breeds, because it's just assholes being assholes to people who turn into assholes and breed the next generation of assholes, and it's a vicious cycle.
Oh yeah, it's a vicious
story
cycle.
by my dad years ago. Before I was born, at one point they were at a function of some kind. It wasn't an officer's thing. My dad wasn't an officer, but one of his superiors was there, and he was making rather inappropriate comments to my mother. My dad said, "Can you please not talk like that about her? She's here as a wife. She's not in the military. She's done her time. She's retired, but please don't." He persisted, so my dad went, "No, stop it. You can say what you want to me, but not to my wife." He did it again, so my dad decked him, because my dad was a bit of a hothead.
I gave you a 3, man.
He got in a lot of trouble for that.
Well, I'm pretty sure if it was UCMJ, you could probably charge the commander with harassment.
Yeah, he could, and he could get away with the striking a superior officer, potentially. I mean, it'd be a slim chance, but there would be a chance in that case.
They would probably figure out a lesser charge, but they could definitely get the CO for based on if other people were there to confirm it. They could definitely get the CO for harassment.
But no one wanted to say anything against the CO because they were scared of getting in more trouble as well. Because they were chicken shits. My dad lost stripes.
I don't know. Probably my most favorite image of any I think it was Marine. Dude was fucking like 80 some odd years old. He comes out in his dress blues, service stripes almost up the entirety of his arm. He's an E2. And we're like, this dude had fun.
Okay, so here's a fun fact. There, at least in the grunt side of things, there will be times where you have goddamn fucking wind. I'm sorry, give me a second. There will be times where you've got fucking privates and private first class who have service stripes all the way up their arm, and they've got a full-on stack on their chest. You know that they've been in a while because of the service stripes. Service stripes, by the way, everyone, are stripes that go along basically the upper part of or top part of the forearm. And each stripe denotes 4 years of service. I have one stripe. I have one stripe on my one service stripe. And those are not what Ward was talking about when he was talking about losing stripes. That's rank. That different.
Yeah.
Anyway,
in the UK, the stripes is rank.
I know you do, Bread.
The fuck you just called me?
I know you do, Bread. But
God, Bal wasn't here to hear that, or he'd probably wanted to.
The fuck you just say to me?
Shut up. Anyway, so the fact that that they are only a PFC or a private means that they've been NJP'd multiple times, and it's just a continuous thing.
The highest they probably ever got might have been terminal, like maybe E3 just kept getting knocked down over and over again. It's just like, I see like goddamn 10 service stripes up this dude's arm. I'm like, damn.
I know a sergeant who went through all the ranks up to sergeant twice.
That's actually fucking
not
impressive.
Even joking. I'm not even joking. So I can kind of, he was my MCT instructor, if I remember correctly, which stands for Marine Combat Training. It's part of the School of Infantry. That's a lot more info than we really need to get into. Anyway, he was a drill instructor when he was a sergeant, or maybe it was a staff sergeant. He reached sergeant, and he was a drill instructor as a sergeant. And this was during the era where they were really cracking down on harassing recruits.
Yeah, a lot of the abuse and shit.
Yeah. Well, he got caught in that, and he got busted because he turned I forget what exactly it was, but there was some deal made.
He probably turned in a bunch of his fucking colleagues and shit, like other DIs.
He didn't get kicked out of the military entirely. He just got busted down to private and got removed from the drill field. There was something he did where I don't think he turned on people. He may have. I don't remember. But essentially, he went up for every meritorious board he could, and he'd never get it because of that. But every time he reached rank and grade, which you have to be in a rank a certain amount of time before you're eligible for a standard promotion. Yeah. So, for example, like everything up to Lance Corporal is based just purely on time and grade. So, it's like 6 months as a private, you'll become a private first class. I think it's 9 months after that, you become a Lance Corporal as long as you don't get in trouble. And I forget how long it is before you're eligible for Corporal from Lance Corporal.
It's probably 2 years. I know.
Once you hit that time frame, you don't just get Corporal, you get a cutting score, which means that you can potentially get promoted to Corporal if your cutting score is above the cutoff line of what they're promoting.
Yeah, no. Fucking, I know the Army, we really don't use Corporal anymore. It's making a comeback, but Corporal's it's an infantry rank over here. Yeah. But we've got E1 through 4, and we don't have Terminal Lance. And we've got the E Fuzzy, which is still a private. Then we've got the one with the Chevron, which is still a private. Chevron and Rocker, PFC, private first class. And then we have the fucking upside down colored black Sharpie PFC rank with the goddamn eagle in the middle and shit like that. Specialist. That's a specialist.
But anyway,
you have to have 2 years of good service before you can get your E5.
Anyway, to finish, every time he did time and grade, he got that promotion. And while I was at MCT, he had a and once you hit sergeant, it becomes
insanely hard.
It becomes a completely different promotion setup. Because it's not cutting score anymore. It becomes pros and cons or some. I forget what exactly it's called because I never reached that and it never mattered to me. But it's a completely different scale where it's based on opinions and papers and all that stuff. He had finally gotten staff sergeant at that point.
Wow.
Yeah, he went through every rank from private to sergeant twice.
That's fucking hilarious.
Like every time he went before a meritorious board, they'd say, "Yeah, you're the top candidate, but because of that incident, we can't promote you."
Yeah. Yeah, believe me. Army doesn't have as much of a problem with the abusive assholes. Just you've got those ones that are just straight up incompetent, and because they're incompetent and they know it, they're assholes about it.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't take an asshole to be gung-ho, but quite often, they're the ones who are.
Yeah. Well, I gotta go. I'm gonna go watch animation right now, so I'll see you assholes later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Anyway,
so Ward, you and I were talking before about how you're gonna do a video on the flat Earth.
Oh, yeah. It was painful to watch the documentary I watched. I was there just screaming. I could see what they were going to make reference to before they made reference to it.
Was this the one on Netflix?
Yeah.
My girlfriend and I saw that on Netflix yesterday, and she looked at me and said, "We can't watch this. You will get too heated."
Yeah, I was there nearly crying.
Wait, there's a flat Earth documentary on Netflix.
It's called Under the Dome.
What's it called?
Behind the Dome. Was it Behind the Dome or Under the Dome? 1 minute.
Yeah. Because flat Earth is my shit.
Behind the Curve, sorry.
Behind the Curve. All right. Because it's a pro flat earther.
It's actually not. They have lots of interviews with flat earthers. They have interviews with scientists. It's quite from the surface, it's quite a balanced documentary until you watch it for a second time and realize they're just letting the flat earthers make themselves look like idiots.
All right, hold on. Let me take a peek.
Excuse me, I kind of want Jeff to watch this because there's anti-vaxxers in there as well.
Oof.
It was at that point that I actually
I can pass that on to Jeff. That's not a big deal.
Cool. Thanks. I mean, I'm on his Patreon thing and stuff anyway. So, but yeah, it's just it's horrendous.
Yeah.
Anti-vaxxer doesn't believe the moon landing exists or happened. Just denying everything.
Yeah. Well, sweet. Now it's on my list.
Here's hoping I get a better parking spot. We should probably end this here. I think the conversation has become dry, so
I think you
well, that not necessarily dry. But yeah, we've been streaming for far too long. We can keep the conversation going on either here or elsewhere. But I am going to end this. To the nobody that's watching, be sure to check out the real show. This is just a Google Hangouts that I decided to throw up because I wanted to talk about a certain subject. Be sure to check out the real show at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you live in any other time zone, figure that shit out yourself.
Don't forget to catch Locked and Loaded tomorrow. I forget what time that is. And
I think it's like 6 Pacific Standard Time, something like that.
Something like that. And make sure you catch Midweek Saints on Twitch at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. And the main show on Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, and follow me on Twitter.
Follow him on Twitter, because no one's going to get this far.
Yeah.